don't know what's going on with the chat on the screen. What's going on? Where you guys been? Why is my camera so low? What's going on? In about 3 minutes or so, the final press conference, or I guess you can say the fight week press conference for Gervonta Tank Davis taking on Hector Garcia. It's going to be a Showtime pay-per-view for $74.99. For the first time ever, I'm going to be streaming during the entire event on my FightView 360 boxing channel. Then I got to fix that. My bad. That's shaking and everything. And then I'm going to be uploading my post-fight videos for the main fights on the card on this channel. So how this channel is going to work, I'll explain to you. Hey, it's not just a boxing channel anymore. I intentionally took off the entire holiday season for the most part, just to let the channel weed out. You know, I posted some content on some significant boxing news, but also other boxing news to see how things are going to go. So you've been warned. So today, I'm going to be streaming during all of the major boxing media events on this channel. So for example, if there's a pay-per-view, Tank Davis, Canelo fights, Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, significant fights, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, those guys are going to be they're going to be on this channel. You see what I'm saying? Smaller fights are going to be on the FightView 360 channel. So big press conferences here. Here, I'll pull up the FightView 360 channel for you guys. And that is starting this week. So there's a lot going on, but I hope you guys had a good new year. It's a lot going on. I'm back. I've been off the grid. So this says T Street Uncut, but no, it's not. I got to take this down. But basically here, I covered so far on this channel for the boxing fans. I did this video on Tommy Fury. As you can see, I got my my T Street Controversy uniform sweater here. I did a UFC. They actually blocked this on Fight Night. I just got this video back via copyright not even 3 weeks ago. I covered Ricky Hatton versus Marco Antonio Barrera. So here's the link to this channel. Let me get it for you guys. Put it in the chat. Where we at? Nope, not that one. There you are. So let me tell you something. And I hate to be like this because the press conference is about to start soon. Oh, it's about to start. All right, here we go. Let me close all this shit out. Let me tell you something. And excuse my language. All right? Let me keep it 100 with you. Excuse my language. This is my motherfucking channel, okay? If you don't, well, follow me on Twitter. Put that link in the chat too before I start cussing. I'm letting you know now. Put the kids away if the kids are not in school. Here's my Twitter. Also in the chat. I'm letting you know now. This is my motherfucking channel. If I want to talk about myocarditis, if I want to talk about Paul Pelosi, if I want to motherfucking talk about the movie I just watched this morning called The Menu, okay, I'm going to do it. I've been getting nothing but harassed and bullied. Oh, the pay-per-view. I mean, the press conference is about to start. People said, oh, man, you're going down a conspiracy theory. Anything for views and clicks. And, oh, look, motherfucker, call me Uncle Ruckus. It's like, bro, I'm a person. Why y'all be bullying me? Why can't I just cover what I want? In this case, I want to cover boxing today. Is that a crime? Then lock me away. Lock me up. I don't got time for this mess. You guys need to grow up, for real. You guys need to grow up. So who's buying this pay-per-view? Or are you going to steal it? $74.99 on Showtime pay-per-view. This is Tank Davis's first fight without Mayweather Promotions. I was watching his media workout yesterday and was like, damn, what a motherfucker is Leonard Ellerbe? And I was like, oh shit, oh yeah. Man, Leonard Ellerbe, you know? So it's Mayweather Promotions. Who they got? They got Rolly. I like the menu. It was a little too weird and artsy. I don't know. It was all right though. It was on HBO Max. I don't know how to describe it. It was like, I didn't know what I was watching. I'm like, okay, you know. I watched also The Banshees of Inisherin. How do you say it? I watched that like last week. Once again, movie that I was like, okay, what the fuck am I watching? But I was like, it's not bad. It's pretty good, but I don't know how to describe this movie. So, you know, and there's been a lot going on. I got a new computer. I got a gaming channel, by the way, too. Y'all want to see that? I just started it. You're not paying for it? It's okay. Listen, these pay-per-views be on some bullshit. For real. Don't get me wrong. I like the card. And we're going to talk about Dana White, too. I like the card. But remember, I'm a low-down boxing degenerate. So, you know, I'll pretty much pay and watch anything. You know? But yeah, it's the beginning of the new year, so it's going to be a long ride this year. But I do admit I am fed up with boxing. By the way, we applied for credentials for this fight, and we were denied. Magnum Media hate my guts. Unless it's a small event that don't nobody ever go to, then they always let me in. It's like, man, they still got me in the rookie leagues. Ever since what happened? I got on a bad side. Let's just say it that way. But we put it this way. We kind of cool, but we not. So it's like, if I apply, they be like, all right, cool, we'll let you go. But if I apply for somebody else or one of my team members apply, they be like, nah, you ain't getting in. These are all showcase fights. However, for some reason, maybe it's because, and I'm gonna tell you right now, boxing people, I'm out the loop. That's B. Rye Campbell. Dude's the man. He used to work for ESPN, WWE. But let me tell you, I'm out the loop, boxing fans. You know, I was so disgusted after Spence and Crawford didn't get made. I went to a mini boxing depression. I was like, fuck this shit. Fuck everybody. Fuck PBC. Fuck Al Heyman. Fuck Top Rank. Fuck Bob Arum. Fuck Eddie Hearn. Sky Nicholson. What's going on there? You know, I was like, you know what? Fuck everybody. Fuck Don King. I was like, I am done with this shit. I'm done. I had a whole tantrum. It was all over Twitter. I had a whole tantrum. I was like, fuck everybody. I'm sick of this shit. Hold on 1 minute. My phone's ringing.
Tired of people chirping that I take easy fights. So which is it? Do I take too many easy fights or do I take too many hard fights? BC, I think I agree with you. Hector Garcia, very underrated in this contest. We'll talk more about it. Also, let's set up very...
You're talking about potentially the future.
What was I talking about? My phone started ringing. I was on a rant, wasn't I? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about how I got depressed after Spence versus Crawford didn't happen. I'm talking about I was messed up. I was messed up. You know, I had lost 50 pounds. I had put fucking 8 back on. I was drinking all these IPAs. I was messed up. You know, but now I'm back. I'm like, all right, you know what, boxing, like I told you, boxing is like, and we're going to talk about abuse too in this video. Boxing is like that lover that you keep going back to and they beat you up. And they say, listen, we love you. I mean, I love you. I'm never going to beat you again. I just was drunk. You know, I get a little crazy when I'm drunk. And then you're like, all right, I believe you. And then you go back and then they smack you around again. You know, get all liquored up and drunk and start beating you the fuck up again. That's how I feel with boxing. Like we'll get like a good fight And then they'll give us some bullshit like this on pay-per-view and be like $74.99 at the beginning of the year after Christmas. Remember what they did to us last year? This is better than last year when they gave us motherfucking Luis Ortiz on Charles Martin on New Year's Day. They put that shit on pay-per-view. But this year, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to be cussing these boxing people out. It's like, yo, we not buying that shit. I'm buying that shit. I got to cover the fights. I got to make money. T-Street broke. T-Street brought all these fucking gadgets and electronics and shit. T-Street need the money. You know what I'm saying? But I can't advocate. This card is a pay-per-view because of the names you have on it. Demetrius Andrade, Boots Ennis, Rashidi Ellis. All three in showcase fights. So we're paying to see Tank. Don't get me wrong. I like Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia. I like it. You know, I find it quite seductive. Kind of sexy. Because you never know what a guy like Hector Garcia, you know? Remember, he beat the shit out of Chris Colbert. That's pretty much why he's here. You never know. And you know, he's Hispanic. And you know, PBC... You know, then again, it's not just PBC, but in this era, it's them. You know, the black fighter versus the Hispanic fighter always sells. But I'm tired of these motherfucking pay-per-views. I'm telling you, let me tell you, I'm fed up. And the fans are speaking with their pockets. Like, these fighters, don't get me wrong. We all want the fighters to make money, right? They're putting their lives on the line and shit. But not like, no. And there's no guarantee that we're going to get Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia because he might be getting booked. When did he go to court? Next month? That's not signed yet. You know that term that they try to use to pacify us? Like they've agreed to terms. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit no more. Let's get to the press conference. I'm getting untethered. It's my first stream back in a year. I missed you guys though. You guys doing? Everybody cool? What is that flying around? Let's calm down. Let me calm down. Let's watch the press conference.
Percentages in the sport of boxing.
Oh, and I want to do a video on aliens. So if I want to do a video on extraterrestrials on this channel, I don't want to hear your mouth. You don't got to watch the video. So we're going to be having boxing on this channel on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Unless there's a major press conference. That's it. Tuesday, Friday, Saturdays is what I'm devoting to boxing on this channel. On the Fight V360 channel, I post the link in the chat. That's where all my boxing content will be. But if I want to do videos on myocarditis, if I want to do videos on motherfucking Shaquille Robinson, no disrespect. If I want to do videos on Joe Biden, if I want to do videos on motherfucking what's some old other shit? Anything. Like, I don't want to hear your mouths. All right? But you know, I'm glad you're here. Let's get to some boxing. Thanks for watching.
Another large crowd at Capital One.
I'm gonna do a video when the moon landed. I think that shit was fake. How about that?
Get them at CapitalOneArena.com.
That's gonna really piss some people off.
About their fight. Before we get to that, though, let me bring to the podium the chair of the District of Columbia's Combat Sports Commission, Mr. Andrew Huff.
No, I'm not going to go Frosk. No, I want everybody to watch. Who's this white man?
Happy New Year. My name is Andrew Huff. I am the chairman of the District of Columbia Combat Sports Commission. On behalf of our mayor, Muriel Bowser, I'd like to welcome everyone to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the greatest city in the world. We're glad you're with us today. I'd like to take a quick moment to recognize my fellow commissioners who may or may not be present this afternoon. Kimberly Lockett, Dr. Roger Mitchell, Christopher Jenkins, Sean Townsend, and Deputy Commissioner Skip Brown. We're looking forward to an excellent card full of local fighters from the DMV. We also look forward, of course, to good, clean bouts in compliance with the Commission's guidelines. We hope that while you're in town, you'll enjoy the richness of the nation's capital, our restaurants, our outdoor spaces, our cultural venues, and see for yourself why Washington, D.C. is, in fact, the greatest city in the world. In closing, I'd like to thank Tom Brown, as well as the entire teams at both Premier Boxing Champions and Showtime for bringing an incredible fight night to the District of Columbia, and we certainly look forward to the next big event. Thank you, good luck to the fighters, and we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, let's talk about the fights. Let's start with the first fight of the night. Comes at 168 pounds. It's a new weight division for Demetrius Andrade. Man's been a champion at 154. He's been a champion at 160. Now he starts his campaign at 168, and he's taking on Damon Nicholson. Damon Nicholson, you might know, is a guy who went the distance with Edgar Berlanga. When Berlanga was at one point knocking everybody out, Nicholson went the distance with him. And all he's done since then has won 3 straight, all knockout victories. Boo-Boo, let me start with you. 168, new division. Give me your thoughts on fighting on that new division and coming back to Showtime.
Yeah, man. Yo, mic check. Yeah, so 168, man. Just bringing more talent to the division. It's going to be a stacked division. It's going to be another division. Be like, wow, Andre's in there. It's me again. But yeah, it's great to be here at PBC Showtime. It's just been a long time coming for this to happen. Now I'm here. I'm going to perform and give the people what they've been looking for, and looking for the future fights.
And tell me why 168? You know, what was it about 160 that you said, okay, it's time to move to 168?
Yeah, body genetics, man, you know.
I get the press releases for Philadelphia now, Hassan. You might see me pop at some press conference with the DA. No bullshit.
I mean, damn. But nah, I mean, I'm just growing in size, and you know, I just can't make 160 anymore. I did it. I'm proud of myself. 154 champion, 160 champion. Now I want to move on to be, you know, champion all the middleweight divisions. So this is the goal.
A lot of eyes are going to be watching you. You talk about at 168, some big names there. There's Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, obviously Canelo's there. We hear maybe Jamal Charlo's going to be there.
I hope so.
What's the message? Because they'll all be watching on Saturday. What's the message you're trying to send to this division?
I mean, the message is letting the best fighters fight each other. That's it. There's no more running, no more excuses about network stuff. There's no more politics. There's nothing in the way anymore. So I'm here. So the message is it's time for us to get in the ring and make this shit happen.
Damon, Saturday is the time for you to make something happen. You got a guy that's coming into a new division. He wants to make a splash because he wants these big fights. Tell us what Damon Nicholson's goal is coming into Saturday.
My goal is just to dominate and win whatever way possible. I go into every fight, Mr. Bryan, looking for the knockout, the KO. I don't care if it's the first or last round. And it's the same with this fight, you know? So I'm going in there and shooting, like I said yesterday, I'm shooting for the moon.
I interviewed him and his pop.
You know, he's been in the game a long time.
Like 6 years ago.
So, hey, it's a new era.
At Laura versus Goucher.
Who's been known as, by some, an awkward fighter. How do you become the first guy to crack that puzzle and defeat him?
Applying pressure. Pressure bust pipes.
I think this is hazing from PBC to put Andrade as the opener of a pay-per-view. It's like you got to pay your dues to be over here with us.
I guess Damon's going down early. Damon goes down. Damon goes down.
You heard that. I mean, listen, he realizes, too, he's got a big opportunity to stop you and to make a big splash.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's the words that come out of everybody's mouth in the game. At the end of the day, man, I prove it every single time I step into the ring. So it's all good, man. Words are cheap when it comes over here. I mean, listen, my plan is to do what I always do, and that's win.
Because
humble beast, he's humble. You know what I mean? I can't be humble right now. There's no time for humbleness, man. The whole entire world is looking down on me. I'm a tune-up. But this is the first fight that I've been in where I've been 100% healthy.
PBC might make the Laura fight.
It's going to come out and they're going to see. You know, you guys are going to see. You know, I'm not trying to cut anybody off or nothing like that. You know, but you all will see. You know.
Yeah, bring the
January
fight.
7th,
Bring the fight so we can
new
put a
life
fight
in the
together.
career starts. You know, he's going to do the talking. I'm not worried about that. You know, my hands do it for me, you know?
Yeah, same here. Over and over. Bring the fight, bro. Bring the pressure. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm prepared for whatever. Don't matter.
He's already said this fight's ended in a knockout. Damon, he's made it known he wants big fights in Charlo after this. What about Damon Nicholson?
He
what
has
would
to
you
get
like?
through me yet. He haven't fought me yet. What about Charlo? He hasn't fought Damon Nicholson yet. Forget Charlo. Sorry, I'm not talking to you like that, but I'm just saying, you know, this entire little campaign, whatever they want to say, they've been talking about him fighting Charlo, Benavidez, and nothing like that. Like he's not fighting me first. Like he hasn't even stepped in the ring with me yet. You know, so I mean, it's kind of built up anger that I got. Not anger, but frustration that I've been getting. You know, but it's really disrespectful, you know, to speak down on a man like that. You know, this is boxing. You know what I mean? You're never supposed to overlook the next man. You know what I mean? And they've been, excuse my language, they've been shitting on me this entire time. You know, and I don't appreciate it. So yeah, I mean what I say. You know, he's saying words is words. Nah.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Say it. Yes.
I mean exactly what I say. You know, and that's just what it is.
Let's go, D-Man.
Speak the word.
Hey. Let's go, D-Man. That's what I'm talking about, baby boy.
Demetrius, you got a fight on your hands Saturday,
Let's go,
bro.
baby boy.
It's on now.
Let's make this shit happen.
Hey.
All right, I'm glad to be back.
That's how we're going to start the night off.
Oh, yeah, now.
By the way, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time. 168, two guys who can crack, and both saying it's going to be a stoppage. Okay, so now we get to the next
blood is
fight.
boiling.
We get welterweights. This is going to be real good because you've got...
Oh, the Hispanic guy, he talks trash too. He got to keep the momentum going.
Roman Villa. Villa's on this 19-fight win streak.
Ooh.
Power puncher.
Ooh.
Rashidi, I guess there are going to be a lot of eyes on you. It's been a while since we've seen you. You haven't been as active as you would like to be. So given that it is pay-per-view, a big audience, tell us what we should expect. What are you trying to prove and put out there come Saturday?
Well, me being out there right now, it has no problem with it because I'm always in the gym staying ready. But, you know, I'm going to make a statement, show that I'm the big dog at the 147 division.
Roman, Martin Bader, by the way, will do the translation. You got a guy who's extremely quick. He's got some pop. And you just heard him. He said he's looking to show that he's the big dog at welterweight at 147. Talk to us about your plans for Saturday night for Rashidi Ellis.
Bueno, Roman, tenés un oponente que es potente, que además tiene fuerza y acaba de decir que quiere demostrar que él es el oponente a vencer en las 147 libras. Pero, ¿qué tenés que decir vos al respecto como rival y con tus propias aspiraciones?
Bueno, primeramente quiero darle gracias al Señor por esta oportunidad, porque Él es el que hace todo posible y
Man, I wish I had hair like that.
Esta de mayo, yo le voy a demostrar a todo el mundo aquí el sábado que yo vengo a pelear. Vengo
It's
a darle
beautiful.
un espectáculo a la gente, un show y nada, no tengo más nada que decir. Esperando el día de la pelea para demostrar que por qué estoy aquí, pues.
Look, talk is cheap. Whatever that he wants to say, he's entitled to it, but I know what I'm all about. I'm all about coming here to do my job, to give the fans the show that they want to see, and also I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to have the opportunity to be here. So, like I said, talk is cheap, and the action is about to be seen in the ring on Saturday night.
Roman, basically everybody you fought, you've not...
I do. I got the low fade. It's like peach fuzz up there. No bullshit. I see my barber junior tomorrow. He's Dominican. He always got these tight ass shirts on. Short sleeve joints.
Knockout.
Bueno, yo pienso que el que sabe las cosas, el que sabe lo que va a pasar, porque el que conoce el futuro es Dios. Yo no puedo decir lo voy a noquear en tal round, voy a hacer esto, no. Yo dejo todo en las manos del Señor, Él sabe lo que va a pasar y...
Top Gun was awesome. Pure, amazing 90s movie.
So I'm just going to leave it in the hands of God. God is the only one that really knows what's about to happen on Saturday night. So I'm just going to leave it in my hands. What I'm going to do on Saturday night, leave it in the hands of God, and then let it be what it may.
Speedy, you were quoted as saying you see yourself right now as the future of the welterweight division. That's kind of a moniker that Jaron Boots has had for a while. There can only be one future.
Top Gun is amazing. For real.
Find out who's the real future of the welterweight division, I guess, on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. We want to see that.
And who is it?
Me. You guys talking like he got 5 arms, just like just a fight just like me. So we want to see who's the top dog. And another back to Villa, like he be coming here talking nice, but him and his team talking crazy. Every time when he in the media, he act like he's sweet and everything, godly, but he be talking crazy. So at first I was gonna give him a casual ass whooping, but now I'm beating his ass.
And if I'm not mistaken, did a member of his team contact you through social media?
Still. My phone probably ringing right now.
And could you enlighten the people? What did they say?
Oh, they talking shit.
She's talking like he's gonna knock me out. He's gonna be the worst ass whooping I'm taking in my life.
Oh my God.
And probably some of them are probably here, like where they at?
Why they call it?
And what I guess is your message to them?
I'm gonna beat his ass.
Roman, he says members of your team DM'd him that you were gonna knock him out, and so.
Oh, that's it.
He's gonna beat your ass.
That's it. I'm going with Vila.
Bueno,
that's it. I'm sold.
Acá, Rayman, Rashidi está acusando, digamos, a miembros de tu equipo de haberle mandado un mensaje privado vía Twitter en el que dicen que vos lo vas a noquear, o básicamente lo estaban tratando de intimidar un poquito, ¿no? Y ahora él dice que él te va a romper el, ya sabes.
No poquito.
Un poquito.
Bueno, ayer tuve un problema por eso. Los entrenadores de Rashidi, a mi mujer, a mi esposa, a mi hija y a mí, nos dijeron un poco de cosas, groserías. Sin embargo, así nosotros nos quedamos callados. Yo no envío a nadie a que le envíe nada a nadie. Ni he visto sus peleas, no me interesa ver ni las peleas de él, no me impresiona, ni veo los entrenamientos, ni sé cómo se llama Rashidi. Me di cuenta que eran los entrenadores porque me dijeron que eran los entrenadores, pero no me preocupa, varón. Entonces, yo no puedo hablar ni estar diciendo tantas cosas porque dice el Señor que está allá, que es el Señor, el papá de los papás.
Hold on, I'm
que
gonna
dice que el que se humilla, Dios lo enaltece, y el que se enaltece, Dios lo humilla. ¿Sí me entendéis? Entonces veremos a ver si esa sonrisita le queda después de la pelea.
There you go. Now he's talking shit. Okay, let's get it.
Okay, so listen, I wasn't aware of what happened, and what he says. I don't really care about, because Rashidi also was, like he and his team, they were mean to me and my family. They said some things that I didn't like at all. So I'm not about to be throwing stones out there, and I want to stay humble. But at the same time, I want to see if that smirk that Rashidi has on his face right now remains after the fight on Saturday night.
Savage with a smile, baby.
Ooh. All right. That's the second fight. By the way, Rashidi, could you see, if you get a victory, could you see an Ellis-Ennis fight where we could determine who's going to be the future of the welterweight division?
Let's go. Everybody know what I want. Just if they're paying, I'm playing.
Let's go.
We already had this supposed to be set up for this fight.
Let's go.
Niggas, we wasn't paying. Come on, man.
Oh, you hear that?
You guys talking like double the price, like it was a lot. Like, come on, bro. We could have got it tonight. Like, come on, don't play with me.
Let's go.
We can go now. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't
So that's the second
you
fight.
ain't like that. Don't play with me. Like
But you got Villa first.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it. You ain't like that. Don't play like that.
Let's get to the co-main.
Don't play like that with me, bro. Get fucked up.
Jaron Boots Ennis
Yeah.
Look at
All right, I'm gonna keep it cool.
He all Bart, yo.
True caution.
He too moody. He too moody.
All right, Boots.
I got him already. Don't worry about him.
Let's talk about this fight here because this is for an interim title, right?
Yeah.
They got to fight
about
next.
Not only being on this platform, being on pay-per-view finally, but the importance because it is an interim title, and all of a sudden you become a mandatory for the unified champ of the welterweight division.
Yeah, it's definitely it's gonna put me, right there in line, for Earl Spence, and the rest of those guys that's up there. So, this is definitely a perfect mark, to make my statement, and I can't wait.
Now you got a guy who's been winning, and then you got a guy fighting before you who's looking to put on performance because, as you just heard, he wants you bad. Are you looking to send a message not only to the division but to that young man as well?
I'm looking to make a statement towards, the whole world. I ain't worried about him or my opponent. I'm just going out there to do me, have fun, put on a show, and get this explosive knockout, and then we can see what's next,
Corinne, you're taking on Boots Ennis.
Corinne got to show up too.
He
got to
hasn't
say some
gone
crazy
past
shit.
6 rounds. He's been knocking out basically everybody he's fought. Tell us why you're the guy that's going to put an end to all of that streak and give him his first loss.
Come on, Corinne, we counting on you.
Карен, ваш противник.
You know he rich, because look, he from the Ukraine. They've been getting all of our American money. He's probably got the best camp and the best team. If he loses, it's going to be Russia's fault. Y'all think Zelensky going to show up, ask for some money?
Дуже гарну підготовку. Об'їздили багато країн, мали багато гарних спарингів. Ми добре готувалися, у нас є геймплан, тому я думаю, у нас є все для того, щоб перемогти. Джарон дуже крутий супротивник, але ми також не просто...
Boots better be careful. They might try to fix the fight for Ukraine. They're going to blame it on Putin. They're going to blame it on Putin. Oh, that's fucked up.
But we were training. We were preparing ourselves pretty good.
Boots got to go for the KO.
We traveled a lot of countries. We had a lot of sparring fights. So we have our tactics, we have our strategy, so we believe that we are ready to fight and win.
Oh,
Corinne,
shit.
You are making your U.S. debut. What is Jaron Ennis and the U.S. boxing public going to find out about you on Saturday that we didn't know?
Карен, це ваш дебют у Сполучених Штатах, очевидно. І що ви думаєте, ви можете показати для публіки американської, яка цікавиться боксом? Як вони можуть вас пізнати?
Перш за все, це мій шанс показати себе американській публіці, тому що всі знають, що справжній бокс саме у Сполучених Штатах.
It is my chance to show myself to the American public because everybody knows the real box is in the United States.
І тому я зроблю все можливе, аби порадувати
американських
світових болівальників боксу.
Then I will do all my best to provide the pleasure and fun to all the American publics and all over the world.
Thank you, Dana. Boots, having gone past 6, will this fight go past 6?
Iron Mike Tyson. So like I always say though, I don't go in there looking for a knockout. I go in there, to have fun, and establish my jab and put on the show for the fans. But if I see that opening, I'm definitely taking it. So, I ain't afraid to, get him out of here early. Y'all know my slogan. I'm in and out like a robbery.
And you've talked about Iron Mike Tyson. You've been watching a lot of Mike Tyson film lately.
Yeah.
And so will we see some Boots, Iron Mike Tyson type stuff on Saturday?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be with my own twist, though. It's going to be me in there doing a few things that I seen that Mike Tyson do. You know, it's gonna be a fun night, man. I just can't wait. I'm ready to get this win, this victory, you know, and be explosive with it, you know, and show the world. You know, I can't wait.
And we'll wrap it up with this because I guess what's the message then for everybody who's going to be watching you on pay-per-view? And for Mr. Rashidi Ellis, who, as he just said, he is fiending to get into the ring with you.
Cat. But my message is to the whole world, you know, just to continue to keep watching me grow, progress, you know, get better and better, you know, and don't miss this knockout on Saturday night. I can't wait to have fun and put on for DC. Shout out to DC, Showtime, my team, you know, the whole Philly gonna be in the building, you know, Mr. Espinoza, shout out to Mr. Espinoza, shout out to you, you know, I can't wait, man, I'm ready. Shout out to P-Review, let's get it.
And the message to Rashidi Ellis?
All right, we'll do it after we do it.
I love it. So there you have it. That is the co-main of the night. 3 fights on this undercard, on this pay-per-view, loaded with talent, with guys who are looking to, as you just heard, become stars and send a message to their divisions. All right, guys, let's get some face-offs here, and let's start with the first fight of the night. It's me again, and Damon.
All right, guys. Here we go for the cameras. All right, guys, turn out. Come on, guys. Let's turn out.
I won't be surprised if Andrade wins, he fights Lara. Then after that, Charlo, Adames winner. Because, look, he's at the beginning of the card. I think that's the price he had to pay for what happened with him in PBC before. They was like, look, we don't got that much room for you. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a little small pay cut. Maybe a significant one from what he was getting paid from Eddie Hearn. But I'm glad as a fighter he was humble enough to know, like, look, he got to, you know, to be able to get the big fights. That's what he got to do. Now his talent's got to really carry him.
Villa and Rashidi Ellis.
This Villa dude looks huge.
Here we go, guys.
And don't be surprised if this turns out to be better.
Together, down in front.
Remember, this pay-per-view stage sometime be elevating fighters. Man, I wish I had hair like that. But I think Villa mean business. Let me pull up his resume.
Jaron Boots Ennis.
Boots Ennis is due for a tough fight. You think it's going to be this dude? You never know.
Jaron, Karen, come on, guys. Let's turn for the cameras, guys. Come on. Boots. Karen. Here we go. Come on, guys. Let's turn out.
Turn. All right.
Come on, guys. Let's turn.
Turn. All right. There you go. There you go.
The Lara fight will probably be at a catchweight. Lara is a small 160-pounder, though. He basically lost to Jared Hurd from being just fucking bullied.
TV's in the back, guys.
Hey, right there, everybody. Let's get the full card. Let's get all the fighters to come on up.
All together, once you're down in front, guys, please. Everyone's together.
All right, Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell here in Washington, D.C. You can see this is the arrangement of undercard fighters, BC.
This is the pay-per-view main card supporting the main event of Gervonta Tank Davis and Hector Luis Garcia.
Everyone but the main event.
You want to talk about good matchups, important fights for young fighters looking to make statements.
So this is the undercard, folks. Again,
I want to talk about a little bit of the acrimony between the two of them as it broke out.
Time from Capital One Arena here in Washington, D.C. In just a few moments, we'll have the main event fighters come up, and we'll start the main event press conference.
All right, there we are. I think Brian Custer is done now. Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, we are here in Washington, D.C. That was the undercard press conference. We are waiting for Tank Davis. We are waiting for Hector Luis Garcia. They will move to the dais here eventually. I'm told Tank is on the way. But in the meantime, BC, let's react to what we just saw. I have to tell you.
Tank always late to his own shit, man. Anyway, so we did a poll here on, kept it real simple for you guys. Are you buying this shit? The options were, in the polls in the chat, the options were yes, no, and fuck them. I'm streaming this shit. So 12% said yes, that they're buying the pay-per-view. Okay. 59% said no, they're not buying it. And a 29% has said, fuck them. I'm streaming that shit. So why are you streaming the fight? What's the reason? Do you not feel... Oh, let's listen to Andrade. What he has to say.
He will be taking on Damon Nicholson. You can catch that on Showtime pay-per-view. Hi, Demetrius Andrade. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how does it feel? You're finally you're in the PBC family, and you got your first big fight. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Ready to rumble, ready to display my skill and give Damon a beating for all that shit he was talking.
Now, I saw the face-off. What'd you say to him?
No, I said keep that same energy. You talking that stuff, man. Bring it into the fight because that's what I'm looking forward for. He
was really reacting to it like he does. Did you get the sense that I'm not saying whether you think it's true, but whether he sounds like he feels like he's overlooked and he's got like a little bit of certain energy about it, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's great for me because I like that type of fight, that spark, because it's just going to get me going as well. So, I don't have to really like talk the talk as far as talking shit. I'm going to speak facts and also put that into the ring and, give him a beatdown.
Well, we understand his stance of saying, hey, let's not talk about Demetrius Andrade against Charlo, Canelo, Morrell, Benavidez, Plan, all of these big names here at 168 in and out of the PBC bubble until you get through him. But it has taken you, as the real boxing fans know, a long journey to kind of get in a spot where you have a little bit more freedom of movement, access to more opponents. You played the boxing politrick game the best you could in various parts of your career to get you here, but you're 34 now, still time to do big business. How hard has it been to navigate those choppy waters where you've been calling out big names? I've been interviewing you since the beginning. It's never left you, that willingness to want all the smoke. I think now you're about to get it.
No, I hope so. That's what I'm here for. Like you said, I made decisions, went through different obstacles and, different networks. And I know that right here, Showtime always puts on the great fights. And there's great fighters in this division at 168 pounds. And so me being added to that is just going to make it bigger and brighter. And so I can't wait. But yeah, Damon Nicholson is in the way in a sense, but ain't nobody talking about Damon Nicholson and Charlo. They talk about Demetrius and Charlo. So my job is go in there, beat them down, let them know this is why I want these fights.
Well, Boo Boo Andrade representing New England, so you can have a nice DC party all onto your own here, but us New England boys know how to get down. Look, you won a world title at 154 pounds at middleweight, now moving up to 68. Why now in terms of the move up? Is it more about the landscape and the opportunities available to you?
Yeah, definitely the landscape. Everything's about that in this game. 54, 60, now 68. There's nothing at 60 for me that nobody wants to get in the ring over there at the zone. I tried the Triple G route, Giga route. I tried all that route. Didn't work. Now moving up to 168, you got Plant, David Benavidez, Charlo's going to move up. A whole broad different characters that I think that's willing and able to get in the ring with me that they're going to feel like they're bigger and better. So I think it's just the right timing of the sport.
Well, you're obviously frustrated with how the last 5-10 years have gone. You came up for some big fights and you won those, but it's been hard to get them consistently. How hard is it to maintain that level? Because you've always been one of those high-risk guys to get in the ring with, which is maybe why you've been avoided. How have you been able to stay sharp this entire way?
I mean, it's God-gifted talent and abilities, I'm disciplined. I got a family to feed, and I can't not let, that not happen by, being frustrated. Everybody gets frustrated in this world, so I can't just not let, what I have to do prevail because of that. So I'm gonna go in there, do what I've been doing, and that's take care of business.
How about the sartorial spirit of this man right here?
I know. Can you tell me what kind of garment is this?
Yeah, so this is my boy Troy Griffin that I work with. He's my tailor. Yeah, for sure. We come up with some good ideas, and I'm styled. What can I say? You know what I mean?
All right. There's a lot of firsts here, right? You're with PBC, 168, Showtime pay-per-view. I know you feel pressure in the sense that you want to perform well to set up these other opportunities. But at 168 specifically, do you feel like you have to show a certain level of physicality here? Like, what do you have to show in terms of this new division?
Nah, I mean, it's just you'll see it in the ring. Once I get in the ring and you guys see what it is, that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna see. So that's what I'm gonna feel. Once I feel what physicalities that I need, that's either putting on more weight, muscle, should I say, or physically pushing people around and having the power. We're all going to find out Saturday. This is a bigger division for me, and I'm going to go in there and put my skills and talent and all my hard work to the play.
Do you feel comfortable at 168? Like, what are the athletic differences between that and 160 for you?
It's just pretty much being in the ring 100%. Me hydrated, then me depleting myself and not being 100% the next day. And being able to do what I've been doing for a long time. But, as we get older, we get wiser. We're not going to keep struggling. And then, I get down to 160 and I have an off night or I'm not really hydrated to, 100%, 75%. And I lose. Like, why take that risk? That's not the risk that we want to take.
What do you make of Damon Nicholson, and have you watched tape on him? Like, what are you up against on Saturday night with him?
No, I mean, I would hope I'm against somebody that sees this opportunity as, better his situation, also bringing his A game to this platform to come Saturday, January 7th. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going against somebody that says he's not humble. It's time to be a beast.
Your name added to this division is very interesting, and we can name all those names and get super excited. And Canelo Alvarez, still the undisputed champion. David Morrell's got a secondary title. We're going to see Benavidez versus Plant coming up in a few months, which is basically a title fight there between two former champions. What's the matchup that you covet the most in this division that you feel like will test you the most, but will allow you to raise your game to that A+ level and maybe unload it all for the first time, because you're undefeated and you've been able to control the majority of the opponents you've been in there against?
Yeah, for sure. I think Plant, I think David Benavidez for sure. I haven't looked into the David Monroe kid, but I know he does have a belt, and that's something that, that if it sparks interest and something that we need to do, yeah, of course, I'm going to look into that. But I think for me to get to that situation, I think Charlo needs to step up. We make that fight happen. I think we're going to both bring our A game, and that's what's going to put us to that level where, who's the best?
Well, you've been linked with both Charlo brothers at various points in your career. Is there a lingering beef there, or is it more competitive, like we're going to be in the same weight class? Let's match.
No, definitely lingering beef also, and of course we're in the same weight class. Why not make it happen? You're undefeated, I'm undefeated. It's been history. It's already been a build-up. Now we put the job behind the machine, and everybody does their job as far as putting the fight together. I mean, it's going to be one of the best fights to be made.
All right, very quickly, prediction for Caleb Plant and David Benavidez.
I think it goes the distance.
Who wins?
I think it goes the distance.
All right. Well, we got some other guests we have to bring up on stage. We appreciate your time, Demetrius Andrade. Cannot wait to see your fight. Again, opening the pay-per-view main card, Demetrius Andrade. Big opportunity for you. New weight class. Early. New clothes, new everything.
Look at these patch. He's got the nails painted. I love it. I love it.
For your time. Really appreciate you.
Boo Boo is
thank
here.
You guys.
Okay, so let's reset here for just a second. Demetrius Andrade, as you saw, is going to be on the Showtime pay-per-view main card, where we got two other gentlemen who are going to be on the prelim card, which, by the way, you and I will be calling from the Capital One Arena, just block.
Prelims are going to be on the YouTube channel. Did you know that Lamont Peterson is returning, as well as his brother, Anthony Peterson? But they are in dark matches, untelevised. Lamont Peterson, 35-5-1, 17 KOs. Last fought and lost to, got stopped by Sergey Limpinets back in March of 2019. He is now fighting Michael Agundu, a 16-16 fighter, in a 6-rounder. Lamont Peterson, how old is Lamont Peterson? He's about 37, right? 38 years old. Still out there getting one more go. His brother's also back. He's had such a weird career ever since the Brandon Rios fight. Just such a weird career. Like, very weird. And if you look, like, he's got, like, a pretty solid record, but, like, what the fuck? He just been going on with his career. Here is Brandon Lee and Vito Malnicki Jr., both guys that needs to step up. We turned it up.
I dropped one of the dudes, and then he was like, from now on, we're going to call you White Magic.
K. Karoma did?
K. Karoma. And then I made that my Xbox name and everything, and then I just carried it on.
It's an unusual nickname. It's quite.
Yeah,
you got the chain there, the ice.
Yeah, it says
Did Dad
White
give
Magic.
you that, or did you pay for that?
Nah, my sponsor, SVN Select.
Oh, they set you up.
Yeah, they hooked me up.
Shit, I need to get some sponsors hooked
Yeah.
I was about to say, well, this is a huge opportunity for you, right? You're going to be on the prelim card, taking on Omar Rosales. We did speak at the fighter meeting this morning,
sir.
but for the folks who may not know, who is your opponent? What are you up against with him?
Yeah, Omar Rosales, based out of Texas, Mexican fighter, 9-1. I'm expecting a good fight, especially down in Texas. So he has great sparring down there in Houston. Houston's becoming a big part of boxing. So I'm expecting the best version of him. We're going to bring the best version of us that night. We're going to put on a great performance.
Do you feel like what is achievable in this fight, and then more broadly, what is achievable for you this year?
Yeah, for this fight, obviously a knockout would be beautiful, especially on such a big card. And then this year, just keep growing. I'm still 20. I want to get 4 to 5 fights in if I can this year. Just keep growing, keep getting better each and every day in the gym. And there's nothing like actual ring experience. So fighting 4 to 5 times is the main goal.
Well, both of you guys are tremendously impressive with your age. 20 years old, just 24 years old, Brandon Lee, and we've seen you 23, excuse me. Not trying to age you any further. We've seen you climb the ladder, showbox to being a featured bout on the Spence Ugas pay-per-view card. That power that you bring has been a calling card, but the more you step up, we're seeing the other sides of you, the chin in your last fight getting off the canvas, boxing the distance. You feel like now you're showing everybody the complete package?
A little bit, just a little bit. I feel like I still have a whole lot more to show the boxing world. We all know that we need to tighten up my defense. A lot of critics out there who want me to tighten up my defense. So I feel like when I face the right opponent, all that will come out.
Did your social media blow up after your last fight?
My social media did blow up. A lot of sponsors, believe it or not, more sponsors reached out to me, even though I touched the canvas for the first time. And, I think they just saw how I can face adversity and still come out on top.
What did your coach say after the last fight?
He just said, my father said that we need to work on the left hand for I don't know how long, how many hours in the gym. We worked on keeping the left hand high.
Yeah.
And just over and over and over until we got it right.
Now you're taking on Diego Luque in this fight. What do you know about him?
I know he's a tough guy. He's from Argentina. He went the distance with Jack Catterall. So I know he's tough and he's durable. But after this fight, I need better opposition. I need to go after those top 15 guys. I need my name to be out there.
Do you feel like you have to punish Luque to get there?
I feel like I just need to win convincingly, easy as I have been doing. Just keep on doing what I'm doing. But knockout comes.
We spoke to him this morning in the fighter meeting. He's still on a high from Argentina winning the World Cup. I don't know. He seemed pretty happy, I have to tell you.
His adrenaline's probably still rushing from that, so I better be careful.
It certainly is. All right, so Vito, when you fight in D.C., are you going to have, because you're from New Jersey, are the folks going to travel down? You're going to have because last time I saw you, you were in the Barclays Center. Yeah. You had a huge crowd there. What about D.C.?
Yeah, shout out to everyone that follows me around from the Northeast. But D.C., we actually have a watch party set up at a local steakhouse, the Franklin Steakhouse.
Wow.
So I think we got close to 500 people going there.
I love steak.
So we're going to do something like that. I know they have little cardboard things with my head on it and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool little event. So
I got to ask you guys both, how do you deal with the pressure when we were your age? We weren't in forward-facing positions in front of a camera, being respected for our craft. At least not me. I don't know about you.
I was
23 years old, 20 years old.
Nah.
Brandon, there's pressure when at that time a lot of people getting out of college trying to figure out their life. You're determined. You know the path you're on. Are you able to just brush that off like nothing?
It took a while. It definitely took a while. I remember doing my first interview with the reporter Eli Setback in 2017, 2016. And seeing that interview to now, it's like, wow, how much I've grown, how much I've matured. And, as I get older, as I get wiser, I'm only going to get better at interviews.
Yeah, and Vito, are you able to blow off some steam? I may have been doing things your age that I'm not proud of, but I know you're dedicated, you're in the gym. How do you deal with the fame?
He's still not doing them.
Yeah,
with the fame, with the success, all of that stuff.
I think, I mean, speaking for me, and I think also Brandon, being like in the amateurs and stuff, like I feel like we've known since we were younger that this is what we wanted to do. And to see it now coming all together, being on stages like this, we're just going to take full advantage of the opportunities and everything that comes with it.
100%.
Well, I know both of you guys are students of the game as well. And Saturday night's pay-per-view main event, Gervonta Tank Davis against a rising unbeaten fighter in 130-pound champion Hector Luis Garcia. Brandon, when you look at this matchup, it's like the boxing fans know how good Garcia really is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the general crossover public is going to get that introduction. How do you look at this fight stylistically?
You know, Tank is a very, very skillful fighter, powerful, very good defense, good explosive, good speed. And his opponent, he's a southpaw, right?
I believe so, yes.
He shocked the world with Chris Colbert. No one was expecting that. And, you know, I think for the first few rounds it may be a little interesting, but I think Tank's going to figure him out and begin to walk him down and break him down.
Is that what you saw, real quickly? Is that what you saw in the Romero fight with Tank as well? Because he didn't stop him until, what, the 6th or 7th?
Sixth round, I believe. You know, that fight, I was surprised. I really was surprised. I think that I think Tank knew, though, that Rolly, you know, we all know how Rolly is. He's every punch he throws is a power punch. So if you try to flex for 10 minutes, you're going to be dead tired.
Yeah.
So I think Tank knew that Rolly was going to get tired. So I think Tank was just cruising, letting him get a little more tired, more fatigue. And then when he had the opportunity, he just went for it.
Vito, what about you in the main event today?
Yeah,
or this coming weekend?
So this weekend I got Tank winning.
Yep.
I think it'll be middle of the fight if he does get a knockout. I think the longer the fight is, I think it actually will benefit Garcia a little bit just because he's a volume puncher. But I think it's going to be a great fight. But I think the fight that's going to steal the show is Roman Villa versus Rashidi Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, Roman Villa is a serious character.
Oh, I sparred with him. I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I had a few rounds with him, and I know Rashidi Ellis and his family well, too. But, yeah, Roman Villa, he's got power in both hands, and he throws a lot of punches, volume.
What's the hardest thing about fighting him? Or I know you sparred him, but in the sense you could get a read on that.
The way he works the body, he puts the body shot, he places them perfectly, and he works his left hand real well.
Well, and for you, Brandon, on the co-main event, Jaron Ennis, just a very incredible talent. Yeah. What do you make of, what does he do well that folks should be aware of?
Man, everything. If you were to, on a video game, you get to build your fighter.
Yeah.
Just copy Boots. I mean, yeah, speed, defense, power, the length, turn lefty to righty, good foot movement. I think Boots is a complete fighter.
Well, I got to tell you, gentlemen, we are very excited for your fights this weekend. It'll be on Showtime, the prelim stream, Showtime YouTube channel. BC and I will be on the call. Brandon Lee, Vito Mielnicki. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you
and we can't wait to see what happens.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Thanks for having us.
White Magic,
Thank you so
everybody.
much, guys.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it. Saturday evening on the Showtime Sports
There we are.
YouTube channel. Showtime pay-per-view countdown. We'll check that out. But, Luke, loaded card here, top to bottom, as we talk about Gervonta Tank Davis on his way in here. Hector Luis Garcia will hear from the main event combatant shortly. But I kind of like the uptick in the energy in the building. You know?
Yes,
people seem to have brought their A game today.
We do have to figure this part out here real quickly. I don't know what's going on here. Ashley, I think we're good. All right. Very good, gentlemen.
All right.
There we go.
All good.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Would y'all
very
get-
much.
Thank you so much.
There it is. All right, so BC.
Would you guys use are these for real? I'm scared to go to this link, undisputedtoys.com. Oh no. Let me see if it's safe for work. Looks like Zab Judah, Smart Investments. Smart Investments, what is it? I'm scared to go to this link, undisputedtoys.com. What? Oh no. It's real. Oh no. No. I mean, listen. Oh. What? Wait. What? One of my ex-girlfriends sold sex toys. Zab Judah has... Man, Zab Judah has a sex toy website. I mean, smart investments, smart investments. He's selling like he's got a vibrating dildo called Super Heavyweight. What is going on? Smart investments, man. Hey, listen, I'm not going, Tank Davis and Hector Garcia coming up. This is Showtime's final press conference for their 74.99 January the 7th PBC on Showtime pay-per-view. Tank Davis is no longer with Mayweather Promotions. He is his own guy, GTD Promotions. About a week and a half ago, a story came out that he was arrested for allegedly close hand striking the mother of his children. She called 911. There was a 911 audio released where she was, saying that he was trying to hurt her, take her life. A few days later, she released a statement saying none of it happened. Now, in my personal opinion, a woman do some shit like that from experience, you got to let her go. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, Tank Davis got too much shit going on. If it's true or not, she's saying it's not true, so that's what I'm going to go off of. But if she did lie, it's like, bro, pack up your shit and get the fuck away from her. Period. On New Year's Day, actually the day after, what was it, like this Monday, the 2nd? Video was released of UFC president Dana White striking his wife. So I've been getting a lot of messages telling me like, oh, well, you know how motherfuckers can be. The whole whataboutism thing. People like, oh, man, well, you talked about you talked about Tank Davis. Where is your video on? You know how motherfuckers can be. That shit be burning me up. I wasn't available. Also, I like to wait for like a little bit more to come out. Like, I didn't do that Tank Davis video immediately after I found out he got booked. I didn't do none of that shit. I waited. And then even though I put what people may feel is a distasteful headline, what was it called? The continued fall of Tank Davis. Let's listen to Rashidi Ellis. But yeah, Zab Judah selling like, he got a KO rabbit, a super heavyweight vibrating dildo, and an undefeated wand, and some condoms.
Boo Andrade a few seconds ago. He had to navigate sort of the other side of the game, the business game, the politics to get to where he is today. To some degree, you had to do that to get onto the PBC banner. And now we got your names in conversations like Boots Ennis, but in respect to your opponent on Saturday, you have to pass that test. How hard was that when you look back at the last few years to navigate all that, but to now be in the right spot at the right time?
Well, look back at it, it's just life, but I'm happy to be here. I'm worried about the moment right now.
All right, well, let's talk about that moment. Are we talking about Royman Villa? Are we talking about a scary dude facing across from?
He looks scary.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, we're not pro fighters, so we have a different view of things.
Yeah.
What did you see when you faced off with him?
He's taller than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that.
What about the art? He's got some ink on there.
He's got some.
I got tattoos? Oh, I seen that, yeah.
On his neck?
Yeah, it look kind of cool.
He's got the side. He's got
I wish I had tattoos.
You don't have tattoos?
No, my mom wouldn't let me.
I mean, my mom didn't let me either. I just went ahead and did it anyway. He's got the sideburn tattoos. You
Okay.
seen those? Those are the ones that are
I
like.
see that. Where he at?
He was
Nah,
here a
I
minute
see.
ago.
All right, well, I called his breakthrough fight on Showbox last September, where he came in there against an unbeaten fighter in Boca Chica and really just showed that power punching and all that stuff. You never know when a guy comes and makes their U.S. debut and you haven't seen it on American TV. Does the record and the knockout streak match up with what we saw? And that fight, to me, it matched up. How serious are you taking this challenge come Saturday night?
Oh, it's a serious challenge. Like, you know, his knockout power looks like it's real. So, you know, I gotta, you know, stick and move in there and make sure you don't touch me. It don't matter how hard he hit if he ain't touching me.
Did you watch tape on him?
Yeah. But
So size him up.
like, he been lucky a lot. Yeah, 24 knockouts and 25 wins. So, but he ain't gonna be lucky on Saturday.
What do you possess that he just hasn't seen before?
Too fast.
The speed.
Yeah, it's to call me speedy for a reason, man.
Yeah. The hand speed, the foot speed, what kind of speed?
Everything. Quick.
All right. In terms of like why you were going back and forth with Jaron Ennis, what was that all about?
Nah, I didn't mean that to happen. Because I was already mad already. I was already mad at
I see. You
Billy,
already
you know,
heated
I
up?
was already hot. And then
Were you
truth, I don't know what he said. I thought he was something disrespectful. I don't know.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Oh, he didn't? Damn, I feel like an asshole now.
I don't recall that. I mean, I
Yeah?
think he
Oh,
thought
it's
you
whatever.
did, and then I think he retaliated.
Oh, yeah? So it's whatever.
Well, let's talk about that. There were some rumblings that you could have been facing each other on this night. Instead, you have other opponents, and who knows about the future. But was this the fight that was offered to you? Was it close?
Kind of, and it really wasn't. Like, you know, they talk about, like, I saw something on the media talk about I turned out like double the money or something. I mean, it's like it was crazy. I'm like, come on, guys. Come on, man.
That's not true?
Yeah, you know, I never ran from a fight in my life. Like, don't do me like that.
So where do you think that report came from?
I don't know.
Hard to say.
People talk.
People talk?
Yeah, people talk.
I suppose that's true. What do you make of his fight with Karin Chukadzian?
Shit, I never seen the other guy, so I can't say. I don't know. But I believe he's going to win.
You think he's going to win?
Yeah.
What about the main event? Predictions for Tank Davis and Hector Luis Garcia?
That's going to be a good fight. The other guy is he's a good fighter, but I think Tank is way over skilled for him.
You do?
Yeah.
Even though Garcia upset Colbert and is undefeated and an Olympian and all that stuff?
Yeah, but Tank and Colbert are two different fighters. You know, style makes fights.
Right.
I'm not saying Colbert is bad. I'm just saying style makes fights.
Fair enough.
Style.
In terms of this year for you, right? Obviously, you want to get the win on Saturday. It starts there. Let's say it goes according to plan. I mean, it couldn't have gone better.
It is. Positive.
All right, fair enough. What happens after that? What's the goal? If I talk to you a year from today, what should have happened in that year?
In the perfect world?
In a perfect world.
Hopefully I get the world title shot with Earl or Terrence Crawford.
That's what you want?
Yeah, definitely.
How likely do you think, like, how much of that is inside your control? How much of that is outside your control?
To be real, you know, I got to work my way up because I've been out the scene for a while.
Yeah.
You know, so, well, I would take it if they offered me, like, I'm like, hell yeah, but, you know, I guess I got to earn my way back up.
Yeah.
Does that put pressure on you in terms of entering your name into that larger title picture, which has Spence, Crawford, Ennis on the rise, Staniotis, Keith Thurman's still there? Do you have to look spectacular on Saturday to enter that?
There's no pressure. I'm just going to do what I got to do. At the end of the day, I'm just going to get the victory.
Just being Rashidi Ellis?
Yeah, I might show off a little bit. But
do you think, by the way, you think Crawford and Spence actually fight this next year?
I hope so, but I doubt it, though. But I hope
like, if
so.
you were a betting man, would you bet on it or bet against it?
It's kind of hard to say. But I'll bet against. I don't think they're going to fight.
No, you don't.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well,
though.
he better hope they don't fight so he can get in there.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Put me in there, right?
if they did fight, who would win?
That's a 50-50 fight.
You got to move the mic.
excited. It be going to my lips, so I'm holding it like that.
Yeah, sorry. Who did you think would win?
That's like a 50-50 fight, so
Yeah.
I don't know exactly who's going to win that one.
All right, well, I got to tell you, we're really excited for your fight on Saturday. You are going to be the second fight on the Showtime pay-per-view main card.
Yes.
Taking on Roman Gonzalez, who, by the way...
Villa.
Roman, was it Gonzalez? I'm sorry, Roman V. I apologize.
Yeah. He look like a Garcia.
Who looks terrifying. He looks legitimately terrifying.
does?
Yeah, well, to us, he does.
Yeah,
What's he gonna do?
Yeah, we're
like a biker
regular
boy.
civilians. We don't have the hand speed or the will.
That's right. We're not Speedy Rashidi Ellis. Like, that's a very different scenario for you.
Best of luck to you, though, Saturday night in this calendar year. We do expect big things. You got a little bit of nice fashion bling going on there on the
Thank you.
glasses.
I'm trying.
I can respect that game. Everybody, Speedy Rashidi Ellis. We'll see you come Saturday night. Thank you very much.
Great time. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
There he is.
Yeah, that
All right,
Mexican
resetting here.
dude.
Brian Campbell, Luke Thomas, Washington, D.C. Oop, there we are. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good.
That Mexican dude do look a little bit menacing.
Let's talk briefly if we
Let's fix
can
that.
here
This
about
is
the
all
main event.
right.
We are waiting on Tank Davis and Hector Luis Garcia. Now, let's just be honest about it. We have to talk.
But yeah. Oh, wait, they're talking about it.
like that. Tank Davis was arrested in Florida for domestic violence. He was let out on bail. He was charged
misdemeanor battery.
Misdemeanor battery. I know for a fact I spoke to Gene Wong of the Washington Post. He has spoken to Gene Wong of the Washington Post. Tank Davis did, and there's a whole article coming out, I think either today or tomorrow, answering for some of what had happened. There are some other elements to the story that we just don't have time to get into, but that's the basic overview. There's a lot of questions about whether this fight should have gone on, about whether he should have continued, all different kinds of things. BC, how do you assess what happened with Tank and what it all means for this weekend?
I thought, look, the news was disappointing, and it's hard to maintain a certain level of benefit of the doubt for somebody in Tank Davis we love watching so much, love getting to interview him, but has had those missteps outside of the ring, which would certainly hurt his reputation. The thing it hasn't slowed, though, was his development and growth inside the ring. So Gervonta Davis, the person, is certainly going to have larger questions to answer, even separate from this situation as we move forward. The question I have as we point toward the fight, though, come Saturday night against fellow unbeaten Hector Luis Garcia, is what is Gervonta going to show us from those intangible side, from the makeup, from the ability to take distractions and compartmentalize them to focus on the fight at hand? The distractions isn't just the legal trouble. It's sometimes in the social media age, the reaction of the people, the court of public opinion, all that comes with that. Part of the narrative for Gervonta Davis coming into this fight was he's standing on his own now from a promotional standpoint. He had come up under Mayweather Promotions, had Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellerbe on his right and left shoulder, helping guide him, helping build up his star. This is the sidestep. This is Tank maturing into his own man, leading his own brand, leading his own charge. Even though he's separate from Floyd Mayweather, if we look back at the TBE, Floyd himself, one of his greatest, most underrated skills, whether some of the drama outside of the ring was caused by him or not, was doing exactly what I said, being able to pause that, focus on the task at hand, continue to handle his business, take the preparation, and apply it to the fight. That's what I'm looking for from Gervonta Tank Davis, because we have laid out, and the real boxing fans know that we mentioned that Hector Luis Garcia is no passing through, step up type of, keep me busy here and get me ready for the next pay-per-view. This is a pay-per-view fight against an unbeaten champion and a guy with an Olympic amateur background and a lot of recent success to show you what he has. But for Tank Davis, it's not just about what he does in the ring. It's about how he handles himself, how he's able to block out everything, and then I think more importantly, separate from boxing, how he's able to make the adjustments to his life to get back on the right path.
The second part to me is the important one because, of course, again, innocent. These are all alleged, right? This is what has been alleged. Obviously, we do know for a fact he was arrested, but everything else about it is alleged at this stage, at least legally speaking anyway. But, of course, he does have the two previous run-ins that we can't ignore. And also, he has a jury trial for a hit-and-run in February. Like, it seems to me he's on the precipice now where if he's going to be managing his own affairs, there's a broader conversation about the ethics involved in terms of how he manages his own conduct. But beyond that, managing his career, really, these kinds of things, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for them to stop. One of them is, how can you actually reach your potential?
True.
How can you actually do what you say you want to do in boxing when you have constant issues like this?
Without the chaos, without the turmoil.
Without the chaos, without the time spent away, without the energy and resources that have to be devoted to it. Again, that's not even getting into the conversation about what actually happened in those incidents. It's a lot to deal with.
It absolutely is.
It's not a good thing to deal with either.
This is the key stretch of Gervonta Davis's career. The further establishment of himself as an independent pay-per-view brand. And then, not Floyd 2.0. He's carving out his own niche, but he's got that crossover celebrity audience. He connects with certain elements of the overall fan base that are trending younger, that are trending in different areas that the traditional old boxing stronghold doesn't hit. He represents many things to many people, but this is a key part in his journey where he has heard in the past some criticisms about the matchmaking and the steps he chose. Part of that. He's in or right outside looking in, depending on where you stand in the overall pound-for-pound conversation. From a commercial standpoint, this guy is routinely selling pay-per-views, routinely selling out arenas all over the country. But now is the time to put it all together,
right.
to put the past behind him, to really learn and change and grow and block out the distractions outside of the ring because he's got too much business to handle inside of it. In this game in boxing, when you're always looking to please the stronghold of that pure boxing fan base which carries the sport, everyone's goal is to cross over, right? Everyone's goal is to make the type of pay-per-view event that brings in the casual or the lapsed boxing fans. Tank in a lot of ways is that perfect offering to so many people who can look at him as the Mike Tyson of the smaller weight classes, or look at the colorful way, the tattoos, the way he brings himself to there. You want to see that go the direction of a success story and maxing out his potential. I hope he can do that here. He seems in the interviews I've seen leading up to here, and we'll hear from him from a moment, where he needs to be mentally despite everything going on outside of the ring. Again, whether some of it was brought on by himself or not. But there's a big test on Saturday night, like I sort of just laid out, that does go deeper than boxing.
All right, let's look forward now. Let's imagine something does go well for him on Saturday. He gets the win. The big item on the calendar would be a proposed, or I should say penciled in fight with Ryan Garcia in April in Las Vegas. If in fact everything goes to plan for Tank Davis on Saturday, that would be the subsequent fight for both of them.
But you notice Tank's not a guy who's this week talking about that. Tank's not a guy, when you sat down with him a couple weeks back,
not much.
That's really talking about Ryan Garcia, and that's the respect he rightfully has for how tough Hector Luis Garcia is.
Right.
And that's certainly the point that at the very least you want to keep hammering.
Tank has been selling out arenas.
He's got close to 400 amateur fights. He's got the Olympic arm, which you only do if you're at a...
I had the same issue with Tank Davis. It's like, all right, bro, when are you going to grow up? Because he's on his own now. I mean, yeah, he's got Al Heyman, but Al Heyman is not a babysitter, And is there possibility, there's that possibility that he can be found guilty next month when he goes to trial for that hit and run, where there was a pregnant woman involved. So it could be a situation where the judge might try to make an example of him because of all of the trouble he's been getting in. He's been getting in a lot of trouble over the last several years. After a while, a judge will be like, look, I don't care what pay-per-views you're fighting on. I don't care how rich you are. You're out of control. You're going away for 3 months or some shit like that, It even happened to Floyd. Like what he had to do. How long did Floyd do? Was it 30 days or was it 90? I forgot. Or 60. I don't remember. But the shit in the fucking chair. The shit's getting old with Tank Davis, man. And the Ryan Garcia fight, I'll believe it when I see it. When I see a press release or something. Like, because as it stands right now, they may have penciled it in or they may have agreed to terms. Like, it is what it is. But, no, actually, I wouldn't be Black Magic. Like, he says, yeah, Tia, but if a woman shit on your stuff, you'd be mad as fuck. You want to kill a hoe. No, I wouldn't. Like, it's like, no. Like, no. Like, that's I had to learn the hard way. It's like, you can't be giving these females that type of attention, bro. Like, you can't be doing that shit no more. Like, God made billions and billions of women. Like, and that's one of the issues I had with the mother of my kid, like when she was doing all that lying. And I had to go to court and be like, yo, like, I never wanted her. Like, like, no, like you can just get another woman. Like I have no respect for women who make up false charges or who play around with the law to try to get the upper hand in a custody issue or, filing false paperwork. The issue with Tank Davis that we can't deny, and even his own fucking network just said it, because you did have a lot of people who were like, like, oh, why are we talking about this? And, Tank Davis made a mistake, and where was it with Kovalev and everything? Tank Davis, no matter how you slice it, he has a history. It's not like he wasn't in the past posting shit on his Twitter, posting stuff, tweets about something. If a woman did this, he would, beat her up or some shit. Then you see video of him gripping up a woman by her neck and dragging her from an event. Him getting booked, like he has a history. So when something like this comes up, he pissed off, allegedly. She spit on him, allegedly. Put baby shit on his toothbrush, allegedly. And he goes and flies off the handle and puts his hands on her through, But at the end of the day, like, motherfuckers be soft. I'm not talking about like, he's got a history. And it's like somebody like me, they're like, why are you talking about it? And it's like, motherfuckers be weird. Like, he and the thing is, he's a multi-millionaire. Like, get you another woman. That shit's weird. And it's all these women be looking the same anyway. Like, did y'all notice that? Don't get me started. These women out here, these young women these days, like, don't be bringing shit to the table but sex. Like, and all of them be looking the same. So I be looking at guys like Tank and I be like, bro, like really, honestly, what is she really doing for you that you can't do for yourself? And you out here, like she This pay-per-view could have been canceled. This pay-per-view could have been canceled. You know? What about Garcia's post? What did he do? But Tank Davis is always late to his events. This is some bullshit. Like, so he's supposed to be on his way. We've been live since 1 o'clock. It's 2:16. What about Shakur Stevenson? I did that video already. Shakur Stevenson, a woman beater. I've did that. Why are you putting it in all caps? What is wrong with y'all? God. Where are you? Are you guys grown men? But yeah, man. Now, the Dana White situation, I wish I could show that video, but YouTube will definitely don't want that out. But that Dana White situation is like fucked up. There's video, like, you know? And it's a shame because we are in this society and that's just the way it is. I don't make the motherfucking rules. A woman can be whooping our ass, but we can't do nothing to them. We can't. Like, that's just society. You know, that's just the way society is. Like, it's just like, nope, get the fuck out of my face. Leave me the fuck alone. You know, but once you put your hands on a woman, that's it. Like, nope, that is not society. Like, you know what I would do though? And I've done it before. I'll pepper spray a woman. I'd be like, I need you to back away. I did that shit. What was that? 2012? I pepper sprayed the shit out of her. She kept coming to my house. Like, you know, banging and kicking on my door and shit. So I was like, get out, man. Fucking bug spray. I didn't use bug spray. Why petty about all caps? I don't know, man. It's just fucking all caps. When you have money, you can get away with anything. That is everything. That is true. That is true. But I don't believe in putting my hands on no chick. Like, no way. Maybe when I was younger, a dickhead didn't know no better, but no way. I will run. I will run like a motherfucker. And also, I will call the police on a girl, too. You hear about the USA soccer scandal? Nope, haven't heard about it. I will call the police on a female in a heartbeat. Fuck around with me if you want. Say he was a lawyer for delinquent clients and he was in a suit. Oh no, I don't know. But I'm not really, put it this way. This is a pay-per-view of all showcase fights. But I'm not like turned off to the point where I'm like, you know, I do. Maybe it's the first fight of the first card of the year. I'm expecting Hector Garcia to put on a nice, solid performance. You know, the Andrade, Demond Nicholson fight, that has some intrigue. That may be fun. The Rashidi Ellis and Roman Vila fight, that has some intrigue to it. Boots Ennis, Karen fight, nah. Don't really care for too much for that. But Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia, I like that. You know what I also think too? I also think that kind of like, you know, NFL, NHL, and NBA players, when they get into their contract year, they start trying to put on all these good fights. That's what I think PBC is doing to try to get a new contract. You know, and they wanted to use Spence versus Crawford for that too. For example, like, did you like the fights that we're supposed to get from PBC in 2023? It makes me feel like they're trying to, you know, that's their right, that they've been holding out on like the really, really good fights to try to get like a big contract with somebody, because they're running out of networks fast. I can't wait to see how they're going to keep up, because you can't go another year with all these fighters being inactive. And also Showtime only has a certain amount of money for these fights, a certain budget. You know, what are the chances that David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant is going to be on pay-per-view? Very high. Are you going to pay for David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant on pay-per-view? I am, obviously. But is that the type of fight that has that broad mainstream appeal to be a pay-per-view? I don't think so. I don't think that's a fight that brings the casuals out. I don't think so. And it's not exactly like Caleb Plant is white America, you know, so you can't do the fucking America versus Mexico. You know? But you know, boxing is not dying, but we're getting to a point like where are the superstars, the guys that really, really move the needle? Devin Haney ain't it. Tank Davis is kind of right there, but the problem with Tank Davis is too many politics in his fights. He can't really get to that next superstar level because there's too many politics in his fights. You know, there's so many fighters he can fight, but will we see them? You know? If Tank Davis was to go on a streak and fight a lot of these guys, or these guys will be fighting each other in that 135-pound division, that could be elevating the sport, but instead it's killing it. We can't even get Spence versus Crawford, and Crawford's a free agent. And this is my opinion. My opinion. I blame PBC. I don't think that they want that fight. Like, you know, especially if Crawford is not going to be a PBC fighter, not going to let him come over with the possible chance of beating him and then sailing off into the sunset and controlling the whole 147-pound division with the belts. No, and being mandatory at 154. No. You know, Al Heyman can pull that wool over your eyes, but I've been watching boxing for way too many years to know if they want a fight to be made, they're going to make it. And as Terrence Crawford said, like, no guarantee. Like, what? What? And then Floyd Mayweather said it himself. That fight wasn't going to happen this year. I mean, last year. It wasn't going to happen. So they playing games over there, but that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. My opinion. We're waiting for Tank Davis to show up, and he's late. You know, hopefully he make weight tomorrow. This fight's going to be at 135, right? Yeah, I'm not doing Terrence Crawford Errol Spence videos every day. That's how people are surviving. Did you notice boxing is kind of slow right now? The YouTubers, what are they doing? Terrence Crawford videos every day. Errol Spence videos. I told y'all a long time ago, I'm not doing that shit no more. I'm not doing that shit no more. And don't get me wrong, Crawford is not no household name. I don't want y'all to think, you know, because people are going to start talking about pay-per-view buys and everything. Yes, Errol Spence is the A-side. But in order for them to make their career money, they got to fight each other. And right now, like, my gut been telling me, like, Al Heyman protecting Errol Spence. Like, I'm tired of the bullshit, like, for real. Or all this politics, like, oh, God. I was actually surprised we got Michelle Rivera versus Frank Martin. Shout out for that. But Showtime is kind of on the hot seat as a network as well. Boxing numbers have been dipping on the network, you know, ratings. So, you know, I'm sure Steven Espinoza and Al Heyman had to have a talk, like, because Espinoza's job has been rumored to be on the line, not just his, but Showtime as a network. So he probably had to go to Al, like, look, man, we got to start putting on better fights. You know, because right now we may not have a network for you to put these fights on. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, these YouTuber exhibition fights are pulling bigger traffic than real boxing events. Like, what? Yeah. Don't be surprised, though, if boxing may go to streaming. You know? Like, because Showtime as a network, they're not going to be putting up this for long. Like, Steven Espinoza don't run Showtime. It's people above him. Remember that it was actually Les Moonves, you know, the now disgraced Les Moonves, was the one that had to really push them to make the Pacquiao fight. Just to think there was a possibility of Floyd Mayweather retiring without fighting Manny Pacquiao. Think about that. There was a possibility of that happening. There was a possibility. Like, Al Heyman is good for the fighters, but he don't always be good for boxing. And he's got an ego, you know, so he think like, you know, like he can he think that he can make everybody Floyd Mayweather. Like, it ain't going to happen. It's not happening. You know, telling fighters why, well, you know, don't count yourself out. You need to bet on yourself. It may have worked to an extent with Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder wasn't supposed to lose, you know, to Tyson Fury. Look at guys like Peter Quillen, dropped his belt because Al Heyman told him to. He was never the same. And just overall, look at all these fighters that are now in their 30s now, who a guy like Errol Spence has fought like one time in the last, I mean, he's different, but they're not active enough. These fighters are not active enough. Like, I don't know what this man be telling them, but it's like, yo, and Adrian Broner hinted at it. It's like all this time you wasting, you're not getting it back. Like, these fighters need to be, active. It's not the fans' fault that the market changed between Al Heyman, who pretty much started it in the zone, coming in and offering all this money that that the fights don't produce. It's not our fault that they in debt. Like, But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let's see, what are they talking about?
You're not going to give him a pound for pound.
They just doing filler. They're waiting for this guy's late. I think Jones and Ngannou was a bigger fight. Easy. That would do bigger numbers than Spence versus Crawford. Jones and Ngannou, Spence Crawford would probably do at most, I'm going to say 700,000 pay-per-view buys. And that's being a little generous because you're going to be relying on all of the hardcore fans to definitely buy that joint. But casual crossover, Ngannou, John Jones, that's going to do a million pay-per-view buys. And remember, UFC pay-per-views are now $70 now. Just $5 cheaper than, the average boxing pay-per-view for Showtime. But yeah, boxing is tiring. Like, I'm not going to be covering the same fucking bullshit stories every day for fights that may or may not happen, or how it's a lot of scammers now in the boxing community where they just be fucking making up shit, putting up thumbnails. Like, I can't, putting fighters on the ESP. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's a fucking scam. It's a fucking scam. And Ngannou contract ain't expiring. He's definitely going to be fighting in the UFC. He's already back training. And he's got that clause in his contract where he ain't going to be going nowhere. Trust me. And Ngannou's going to be back in the UFC. He's just, took care of his body. And he's going to be leveraging for some more money. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the boxing in the Olympics. Where the fuck is Tank Davis at? This is a situation. Like, where's Tank Davis at? He's not supposed to be this late. And this is a guy who's supposed to be a pay-per-view star. Floyd Mayweather used to be late to his media events, but he was building, like something. He was building like the tension. But in this case, like, Tank Davis is always late to his shit. We'll see tomorrow, though. I mean, at that weigh-in. We'll be here streaming the weigh-in to see if he makes that weight. What weight is this at? This is at 135? Like, what the hell is this guy? Like, what is he doing? Let me see. I'm checking to see if there's any updates online. Like, always late. Let me turn it up.
Improve it first, but like I mentioned, the journey of watching that and it continues Saturday against Karan Chukadze.
I mean, he's not in this co-main event role by accident.
Not by accident at all. And as I said to him when I interviewed him a few weeks back, I wonder if this will be the last time he's not headlining a card. A great opportunity here in the co-main event of a pay-per-view with one of the biggest stars in the game, and Gervonta Davis. But Jaron Ennis, his star is
which can be.
Oh no, my bad. I messed up the sound. Give me 1 minute.
If there's a reputation of a Philly fighter, it's boy, is that a tough guy. There's boys out here.
We say Philly
Give me 1
fighters.
minute.
We don't mean the drunk fans in the stands at the Flyers.
There we go.
But I mean, there's very few in boxing where you mention a place, a city, a camp where they come from, and it's like stereotypical understanding of who they are and how they're wired. I say it could be a good or bad thing. Normally, it's a good thing. I'm a Philadelphia fighter. I'm tough. I can take your shot, and I'm willing to give you mine and go through hell to do that. The downfall of that is sometimes you get fighters that are a little bit too hungry and too willing to do that when their skill set might offer the want for a little bit more control and patience in order to lean more on their skills. But we talk about the things we don't know about Boots Ennis. We don't know what it's going to look like when somebody gets him inside, hurts him, how he reacts. He's a Philadelphia fighter, though, at the end of the day. So it gives me a little bit more confidence he might be able to react great. But again, we're going to find out. Karen Chukadze on Saturday. Big things again if he wins. But the main event, Luke, we're waiting for the fighters. They're still going to be here.
Yes.
Hector Luis Garcia.
I just got an update
Davis.
that there is no update just yet, but we are waiting for them.
I mean, this DC traffic can be a...
Oh, my God.
At this time of the 2:30 it can be.
This is your home city. I don't see traffic like this in suburban Connecticut. I'll tell you that much.
Do people live in suburban Connecticut? You know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, did it make a noise? I don't know. BC, yeah, I don't think it's probably traffic. I think it's, it's just he's living the superstar lifestyle, I guess.
mean, Axl Rose used to take his time before Guns N' Roses.
I don't like this shit.
I saw them here not quite DC, in Silver Spring. I saw them at the Fillmore when Buckethead was playing with them.
Oh, the best.
And he was 2 hours late. He was 2 hours late for the show.
I saw them in Philly in 2002 when Axl never got on the plane from LA to go to Philly, and we didn't find that out until the concert started.
How about this? How about this one, BC? So for folks who are from this area, they'll know this. I saw Rage Against the Machine and Stone Temple Pilots at the HF Festival this was 2001. So this was at FedEx Field when it was brand new. Right now it's not. And Scott Weiland came out. Rest in peace, Scott Weiland came out after 2 hours in a rain delay and was like, we would have started earlier, but I couldn't find my boots. And I was like, just play without them.
Yeah.
How about that? Just play without them.
We found our boots. He was on the dais, but just a few.
You see, this makes me think that he doesn't want to really, because he has to do a media scrum. Yesterday was kind of controlled at the media day workout. But, this is just a bad look. Dude, got to get it together. This is his first event, where he is, it's no Mayweather Promotions, there's no Ellerby, there's no nothing. And he wants to be his own guy and his own promoter. Show up to your events on time. How about that, man? Show up to your events on time. And it's a pay-per-view, too. Also, did you notice Steven Espinosa's not there? I wonder why. He probably didn't want to take any questions also from the media. It's a pay-per-view. Why is he not there for the final press conference? He always there. This is some bullshit. Let's see. Let's go back to the poll. I put a poll in the chat if you're going to be buying Tank Davis's pay-per-view, which is going to be this Saturday on Showtime for $74.99. 17% said yes, 49% said no, and 34% said fuck them. I'm streaming that shit. What's your plans for fight day and what fights are you looking forward to? The main 4 fights on the card are going to be Demetrius Andrade is going to open up the pay-per-view at 9 p.m. Eastern against Damon Nicholson. Then you're going to have Rashidi Ellis taking on Ramon Villa. Then you're going to have Jaron Boots Ennis versus taking on Karen something. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. And then you're going to have Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia, Luis Garcia. Also, Lamont, there he is right there. How about that? He's here. You see him in the background? Also, in dark matches, untelevised dark matches, you have the return of Lamont Peterson taking on a 16-16 guy, and you have Anthony Peterson returning, taking on, here it is right here. Anthony Peterson taking on a Raul. So you got Lamont Peterson, he hasn't fought since he lost to Sergey Lipinets back in March 2019, taking on a 16-16 guy in a Michael Ngannou. Anthony Peterson's taking on a Raul Chirino, a 21-16. Brandon Lee taking on Diego Leque. Vito Malnicki Jr. taking on Omar Rosales. And it's just no fight really, the only fight I'm really interested in, obviously the main event, but Andrade versus Nicholson. That's pretty much it. Everything else, I really don't give a fuck about. I really don't care for. All right, looks like they are here. They are starting.
Years old, but that started late as a pro because of that huge amateur background. But we talked about it. Boy, is he getting his name known now.
And we didn't bring this up before, and I'll say this too. I was there for the 6 weeks ago, or roughly 6 weeks ago, when they had the press conference announced for this fight. I saw their face-off. It was an amicable face-off, nothing too crazy. Garcia did not look like the guy who was coming up a weight class.
Yeah.
It looked like Davis was the guy coming up a weight class. Now, obviously,
it's because of the height, and this is something
it's
Davis
not,
has to...
well, okay, the height played a role, but pay attention to his frame.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this is the wrong frame, for 135 generally, and more specifically for Tank Davis. Skills will play the difference, but I don't think the size is going to be that determinative a factor. Do you?
No, I don't either. I think ultimately it's going to come down to skill, although when you hear Tank's team talk about it, they know it's a challenge skill for skill early. They do believe if this fight can turn into more of an actual fight late and the punches are traded, can Garcia hang on this level of firepower? I think that's the key technical, stylistic question that we're asking ourselves entering in here. Garcia's been able to do that against a very high level of competition up to this point. Now you raise the stakes to sort of a pound-for-pound level guy who also has incredible fight-changing power, who's also one division higher. That's the obstacle up against Garcia, because can you be that same hurricane strength force of pressure that I think got under the will of Chris Colbert, wore him down, messed with his confidence, eventually wore down his stamina as clean shots one after another seemed to take the fight out of him. If you cannot do that same dissection to somebody with the makeup of Gervonta Tank Davis, does that mean, what is Garcia's fight or flight instincts in that moment? If he finds himself down early, let's say if he gets hurt early or dropped, does he come back off the canvas as a boxer, or does he come back off the canvas as a fighter? The good news is Hector Luis Garcia can employ both methods and also can employ them together, but it's going to be interesting in that fight or flight debate, which happens when a fighter gets caught or gets hurt early. Which way are you going to go to try to salvage it? I think against Tank, who's the favorite, who's the bigger puncher, that's a key question, whether it's going to come through shots to the body or Tank uncorking that left hand. But Garcia's got that will that's going to say, look, if he can make this closer and harder than even Tank expects, does Hector Luis Garcia have the skills to pull off a decision here? Yes, he does. Yes, he does, in fact.
The one thing we also haven't discussed is the scope of the fight itself, right? Like, it was one thing to beat Chris Colbert on Showtime Championship Boxing. That's a big deal. Here he is in the main event on pay-per-view against one of boxing's biggest stars. Not merely biggest rising star, but biggest stars overall. The crowd will not be in his favor. It will be a very gigantic crowd. They will be cheering his downfall, quite literally. They will be literally cheering his downfall. What does he do against that environment? On the one hand, BC, you can imagine a scenario where that really gets to you. On the other, I think a guy like Garcia, in this case, is desperate for these opportunities to be on stages like this. Whether they're booing him or not. I'm not saying it won't have some kind of effect on him, nervous or otherwise, but I do believe in general he relishes the opportunity to elevate his career to this kind of status.
We cover mixed martial arts on the same level we do boxing on our show Morning Combat. And I always ask this in the mixed martial arts side to fighters, especially fighters who have lost, let's say, big fights and are now trying to come back and rebuild. And maybe when you compare the two, we hold losses in boxing sometimes a little bit more against a young fighter on the rise than we do in MMA. But in MMA, it seems like any fighter who has their wrestling background goes, what are you talking about? I've been on the amateur wrestling scene, collegiately, whatever, for years. I've taken multiple losses in the same day and still come back and win. This is how I'm wired. Somebody like Hector Luis Garcia, with that deep of an amateur background, with the Olympic experience, you end up fighting elite talent all around the globe on enemy territory. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing for him. The power of Gervonta could be something that's different for him.
Right.
But the stage, the pressure, I don't believe this is anything for Hector Garcia.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out on Saturday. Again, Showtime.com/PPV for the pay-per-view. And, of course, if you want to get tickets, Capital One Arena, you can go to the box office. You can get them there or many other places as well. So we are going to be back after this version of the press conference. Of course, we already saw the undercard. This is now going to be the main event. Tank Davis, Hector Luis Garcia. Stick around for them, and then we'll have some analysis afterwards. With that in mind, let's go to the dais and Showtime's own Brian Custer.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Washington, D.C. Welcome back to those who are here this afternoon. This is the official press conference for Davis versus Garcia on Showtime pay-per-view. I'm Brian Custer. I'm the host of Showtime Championship Boxing. Saturday, January 7th. Showtime pay-per-view. Gervonta Davis back here in his hometown area of the DMV. 6 years ago was the last time we did a fight here. This is the city, Gervonta may remember, where Tank began his professional career. February 2013 is when he became a pro, right here in the nation's capital. Well, on Saturday, January 7th, Tank will take on Hector Garcia at the Capital One Arena. In fact, that venue, the first boxing show there held, was televised by Showtime Championship Boxing back in 1999. Last time we saw Gervonta Davis in the ring, last May. That's when one of the sport's pound-for-pound best stopped his nemesis, Rolly Romero, with just one punch. But on Saturday, he's got his hands full. He's taking on the Ring Magazine's #2 fighter at 130 pounds. He is the newly crowned WBA junior lightweight champion. He's unbeaten, just like Gervonta. Hector Garcia. Garcia had that breakthrough performance on Showtime Championship Boxing in February when he beat Chris Colbert. Did it on short notice, by the way. Dropped him in that fight. And then in August, he took away Roger Gutierrez's world title in a dominating performance. This event is being brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. It's being promoted by GTD Promotions, TGB Promotions, also in association with D&D Boxing. Tickets for this, they're limited. If you want to get them, you better get them now. Get them fast. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. You can also get them at CapitalOneArena.com as well. This event and this pay-per-view fight features one of the sport's pound-for-pound best against the sport's hottest fighter right now. And it should be one heck of a fight. Let me bring up a man who helped make it happen. He's the president, GM of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza.
Oh, there he is. I stand corrected.
Thank you, Brian. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Hector Luis Garcia. It's the first big boxing event of 2023, the first of many high-stakes, high-quality matchups that we're working on in Showtime. You know, Tank is assuming a huge risk, facing a dangerous fighter like Hector Luis Garcia. Garcia is one of the hottest fighters in boxing, strong candidate for 2022 Fighter of the Year. Beat Chris Colbert, highly touted prospect, on short notice. Then he won his world title by beating Roger Gutierrez. He's a 5'9" natural southpaw, 16-0, 10 KOs, 400 amateur fights, power in both hands. He's a former Olympian from the Dominican Republic. Say what you will, but this is a formidable opponent for anyone, including Tank. All of us at Showtime are thrilled to be back here in the nation's capital. This is the 10th time we've been in DC, and as Brian said, it's the first time we've been here since 2016 at the Armory. And I remember that particular date for several reasons, but it also happened to be the first time that I saw Tank in person. He was on the off-TV undercard on an Adrian Broner card at the Armory, and his promoter came up to me and said, "You should make sure you get here early to see this young kid I'm working on." And that was Gervonta Davis. So a lot of parallels, you know, in this return, not just because Tank is from Baltimore, a short drive up the road. Last time Showtime was in the big arena here was Mike Tyson's last fight of his career against Kevin McBride. And at that point, it was not the Capital One Center, it's the MCI Center. This will be the 13th time Tank has appeared on Showtime, the 5th time on a pay-per-view. And by now, we all know what to expect. Every time Tank fights, it is must-see TV. He sold out arenas in LA, Atlanta, Baltimore, and Brooklyn. This last fight in May, the highest grossing and most attended combat sports event in Barclays Center history, nearly 19,000 people. In fact, over his last 6 fights, he's averaging nearly 15,000 people per event. And if you look across boxing and see the number of fighters who are doing that, you can count them on one hand. So we're in for an exciting, high action, highly contested main event. But as usual, Showtime is delivering fight fans a high quality card top to bottom. We have Jaron Ennis, one of boxing's most dynamic fighters. He's fighting for an interim title, the interim IBF title, fighting to become the mandatory, get his shot at a championship fight. Now, there's lots of stats you can say about Boots, but the one that's most impressive to me, if you take away his no contest against Chris Van Heerden, which was the result of a headbutt, Boots is on a 19-fight KO streak, 19 straight stoppages. In fact, in his last 11 fights, he has 21 knockdowns. So like Tank, when Boots fights, you know what to expect, and it's all action. But that's not it. Also on the card, rising contender Rashidi Ellis, taking on a Showbox alum in Roy Monville. You got Demetrius Andrade making his debut in a new division at 168. So rarely have you seen the kinds of names and the kinds of fights that you have all on one card, and that's not it. We can go down further on the card. Lamont Peterson, Anthony Peterson, Brandon Lee, Vito Melnicki, Jalil Hackett. You know, from the established veterans to some of the best young prospects in the sport. It's an exciting night. Make sure you get there early and see all of these great fighters in action. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Stephen. Of course, the pay-per-view broadcast begins at 9 p.m. Again, Eastern, that is 6 o'clock Pacific time. Make sure you buy it. Don't want to be late. All right, let's talk to some of the guys, the participants here, taking place in the main event. First, we'd just like for you guys to give us a statement about the fight, what we should expect. Let me start over here. And this man here is the trainer of Hector Luis Garcia. He's probably had the Midas touch. If you look at his year, led Hector to a world title. Alberto Puello as well. I mean, the man has done it all, it seems like, last year, and looking to start the new year off with a bang as well. Mr. Bob Santos.
Well, thank you. You know, we're expecting a tremendous fight. You know, I've said it, I'll say it again. I think Gervonta, pound for pound, is one of the best fighters in the sport, one of the most dynamic punchers in the sport. But that said, you know, Hector's ready. We're prepared. We left no stone unturned. Just like Tank can fight on 3 levels, we can fight on 3 levels too. It's going to be an all-time classic. You know, I look back to the fight with, I had Robert Guerrero fighting Andre Berto, and everybody said Berto's too big of a puncher. You know, he knocked out Freddie Hernandez, that Ares Landalara that I had went the distance with a junior middleweight. And so we're going to be very prepared for this fight, and I'm expecting a tremendous fight, and we're confident we're going to come out victorious January 7th.
Thank you, Bob. Let's hear from the trainer of Gervonta Davis. I've always said what he and Kenny Ellis do at that Upton Center there in Baltimore is tremendous work. Mr. Calvin Ford, if you would, give us a few words.
How y'all doing? Hey, question, Santos. Do he got that shirt on, Fight of the Year?
Well, we're not sure. I don't know. I didn't look at him today in the bathroom. I don't know. I have no idea. He got a jacket on.
Okay, tell him I like that shirt.
We love it. We love it. We're thankful for it.
All right. Oh, man, I can't wait till the 7th get here. It's been a rocky camp, y'all. But guess what? He made for this one. Y'all got the right cat this time. Y'all got the right cat. Y'all been reading it. This ain't no tune-up right here. This is a fight. This is what we made for. This is what we do. This is how we get down. Hector, I like your name. You got a fight name. Bring that Hector to the fight that night, yeah? Because guess what? It's on and popping. You know what I'm saying? We understand when we in D.C., the only way you go away is through D.C. He understands what's going on. That's our playground right here. We couldn't go nowhere unless we came through D.C. Y'all see the card is lit. And we're going to finish it up lit. Man, I can't wait. All this stuff been happening. Y'all been pouring gasoline on my youngin'. Guess what? Buckle up your shoes, caboose in the house. Put your seatbelt on, because Javante Tank Davis is going to bring that heat that night.
Thank you, Calvin. Let's hear from the fighters now. Hector Luis Garcia, unbeaten, 16-0-1, 10 knockouts, an Olympian, and currently the WBA Junior Lightweight Champion of the world. Hector, if you would, give the folks some words on how camp was for this fight and what should they expect January 7th when you step in the ring with Javante Davis.
Héctor, bueno, contanos cómo fue tu campamento de entrenamiento y además lo que crees que la gente debería esperar cuando te vea subir al ring el sábado 7 de enero.
Primero, quiero darle gracias a Dios por la oportunidad, Showtime Boxing, PBC. Mi campamento fue un campamento incansable, gracias a mi equipo de trabajo. Todo salió bien, perfecto, como estamos listos para el próximo 7 de enero.
First of all, I want to thank everyone involved with this fight. This wouldn't have been possible without you. And my camp, it couldn't have been better. My team is tireless. We worked so hard, and you're going to see the results on Saturday night because they're going to be phenomenal.
Has he thanked Al Heyman yet?
And now, Javante Davis, 3-division weight champion, knockout percentage at 93%, one of the highest in boxing. Unbeaten as well, 27-0. 17 of his last 18 fights have ended in a stoppage. Tank, if you would, talk to the people about this fight on January 7th.
First, I want to thank Showtime, Al Heyman, my personal team. Got Mia Edders for definitely getting me through this camp. She trained with me day in, day out. The undercard, a stat card. I feel as though Saturday night boxing win. You know what I mean? It's a stat card from the first fight to my fight. You know what I mean? So I feel as though we trained hard for in training camp. We did a lot been going on. I want to go over a little situation that he said on Facebook. Talk about he looked like a lawyer and we look like inmates or something. He said on Facebook. So it definitely turned me up. So Saturday night, you definitely don't want to miss this one. This one's gonna be a tough fight on his end. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure that. So make sure y'all come early and don't get no popcorn, don't get no water, don't get nothing. Make sure y'all seat, y'all butt glued to the seat and eyes on the ring. I promise you, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be fireworks. So thank y'all for coming out and see y'all Saturday night.
All right, let's talk about the fight. Tank, I'll start with you because you alluded to this. With everything whirling around you outside of the ring, how were you able to focus on this fight?
This is my job. I've been doing this since I was, 7. I feel as though it come with it. You know what I mean? If I stop now, then I feel as though that I ain't really do what I came to do just yet. So I feel as though if I keep pushing, that's just a hump in my road. So just like this fight, I feel as though I got to get through this fight to pass or go to the next one. So I feel as though it just humps in the road that we all have in life, and I'm just human. You know what I mean? So.
And what do you think your feelings about fighting back here in the DMV, so close to home, where your career professionally started? I would assume you kind of have a little more juice when you're back here.
DC always been an excitement when it comes to boxing. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of talent in DC that people sleep on. I feel as though DC is a boxing town, and got so much talent, and I'm excited to come back and fight in DC. You know what I mean? Like my coach said, we used to have to get through DC just to go away. You know what I mean? So I always, you know what I mean, treated DC like a second home. I remember back in the day it was saying like a rival against DC and Baltimore, but I never really got that because I had a lot of friends like Pat, Ramo. I had a lot of guys that I actually like used to come to DC and just chill with. You know what I mean? So I always felt like DC was a second home for me. So just coming back and fighting in DC it means a lot on a professional level. So I'm excited to be back. You know what I mean? I seen Lamont Peterson when he beat Amir Khan, and I was right there, and I actually held his belt after he won. You know what I mean? And that was actually the IBF belt, and I won that, my first world title. So I'm excited to be back in DC, and I'm grateful. And Saturday night,
Hector, says a lot about you. Taking a challenge, stepping up in weight, taking on a guy who has tremendous power. Tell the people why you took this challenge.
Bueno, es algo muy elogiable sobre vos que hayas optado por subir de categoría, el aceptar este desafío contra un campeón del calibre y la potencia de Gervonta Davis. Contar un poco a la gente las razones por las cuales aceptaste este desafío y por qué lo hiciste.
Bueno, sí, acepté este desafío porque me gustan los grandes retos. Para mí las dos divisiones son iguales, la cual me siento bien, me siento en óptimas condiciones en la 135 y enfrentando a Gervonta Davis esta vez, eso me da más fuerza todavía, más ganas, más deseo de superación, de ganar mi pelea el próximo 7 de enero.
Well, both divisions
Why would you say
are
something so
basically
hurtful,
the
West?
same to me. I feel equally comfortable in both, and I took this challenge because I always want to surpass my own limits and go after the very best. So in the end, it's up to me to show what I can do on Saturday night, but when it comes to having to face what I have to face at the weight I have to face, I'll be ready no matter what.
I think people love watching you fight, Hector, is because obviously you got the punching power and your style. Do you believe your power will be enough to keep Tank off of you on Saturday?
Tu estilo de pelea ha sido elogiado tanto en el pasado como actualmente. ¿Crees que tu potencia, el poder de tus puños va a ser suficiente para mantener a Gervonta Davis alejado de vos y evitar que haya tanto daño físico?
Sí, claro. Yo soy un peleador que peleo toda la distancia y confío en mi puño.
The bottom line for me is that I can fight at whatever distance the fight requires me to. Up close, with my reach, using my power, whatever is required. I'm going to be ready.
Bob Santos, you were quoted in the boxing scene as saying, you give Hector a full 8-week camp, and folks are going to be surprised of the outcome when it comes to him fighting Tank Davis.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I said, I got the utmost confidence in Hector. That's why we took a fight with Chris Colbert with 19 days, right? Everybody told us, oh, you're crazy. I said, I know what I'm looking at in the gym. Everybody talks about, this guy's a killer, this guy in sparring. You don't survive in my gym with Carlos Adames and guys like that. So we've been in there with big guys too, and we will be ready to rock and rumble however it wants to go, inside, outside, back foot, forward, whatever it takes. January 7th, we're going to be victorious in this fight.
Calvin Ford, you said this fight, we putting everybody on notice. What do you mean by that?
Everybody gonna get it. Todd, he don't never get his props. And he did the same thing as the rest of them, or more. Y'all heard the last time, it's never enough. I'm sorry, Hector, you have to be the one. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, Calvin, don't say he don't never get his props. I give him his props. I give Tank all the props in the world. Pound for pound, he's one of the best fighters in the world. For me, I give him his props. Pound for pound, he's one of the best in the world, no doubt about it.
But everybody else, man, we know it.
Well, they don't know what they're looking at then. I mean, Ray Charles could see how talented Tank is. So, we know what we're looking at. We know what we're up against. And again, pound for pound, he's one of the best fighters in the world. And anybody can't see that. Wow, I don't know what they're looking at.
Read what we've been reading. See what we've been seeing. Everybody put their hands up saying the kid ain't getting his props like he's supposed to be getting. The best way to show him is to show him. I'm sorry to say it. See you on the 7th, money.
Tank, let me come to you. Because you got a Ryan Garcia fight scheduled for April. Why in the heck would you take another fight against a guy of this caliber before that supposed to be fight in April?
I feel as though he earned his spot. You know what I mean? Hector definitely earned his spot off of what he done in a few months that, you know what I mean, he been in fighting. So I feel as though that he beat a top prospect. I think he came back and, you know what I mean, had a great performance and won a belt. So I think he earned his spot. You know what I mean? I feel as though he's not someone to sleep on. I feel as though that he's a tough opponent, and this will prepare me for, you know what I mean, the Ryan fight. So hopefully we don't get too banged up in this fight, so we can put it on Ryan. But he definitely ain't looking past this guy. I feel as though he's tough. He's tough, and I just want to go out there and put on a great performance in front of a nice crowd and show him that I'm actually one of the top guys.
Yeah, and you said this fight, too, is all about quieting all the talking from these fighters. You expound on that? What fighters and what have they been saying about you?
Just been a lot of talk, you know what I mean? Been a lot of talk from other fighters and whatnot, so just want to put them on notice with this fight. Even with the Ryan fight, you know what I mean? I can't get the Ryan till I get past Hector, and I want to show that I'm one of them elite guys. You know what I mean? By the performance I put on Hector. You know what I mean?
I love, Hector, that you and Tank have certainly had a nice little back and forth. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tank had a picture of you on his punching bag and he was beating it up. And you went on social media and had a picture of Tank with the sign that said free ass whoopings. So talk to us about what we should expect on Saturday night then, considering what you put on social media.
Bueno, acá a Brian le encanta el ida y vuelta que han tenido entre vos y Gervonta. Muy divertido en el sentido de que Gervonta tenía tu cara en una de las bolsas de su gimnasio. Vos le respondiste con una foto propia de Gervonta en tu bolsa en el que decía te voy a patear el trasero gratis. Entonces, contanos un poco de todo este ida y vuelta y tus sensaciones sobre lo que ha sido el ingrediente picante de esta pelea.
Sí, cada peleador es diferente y hay que respetar las decisiones de cada peleador. Cuando sí, todos los fanaticados enviándome cosas de esa actuación de Jaron Endrade en su gimnasio. Ya vi que anteriormente lo había hecho con Rolly y eso es algo normal, ¿me entiendes? Eso quizás es un entretenimiento para él, una motivación, pero eso es como así mismo, es muy emocionante porque me emociono, lo disfruto, eso me gusta.
I thoroughly enjoy the back and forth. It's something that thrills me and motivates me. I think it motivates Gervonta too. And it's all like, I think it's normal. It's in good fun and it brings a different ingredient to the fight. So I didn't take any offense to what he did and I did what I did and I had people sending me memes and stuff like that. So it's all part of the fight and I think both he and I were motivated by it.
All right, let's wrap it up with this. Hector? Do you get a sense that maybe Gervonta is focused on the wrong Garcia? And what should he expect Saturday night at the Capital One Arena?
¿Crees que Gervonta está enfocado en el García equivocado? ¿Y qué crees que la gente debería esperar de tu parte y de la pelea en sí el sábado por la noche? Un vaticinio, una predicción que tenga sobre cómo va a terminar la pelea.
Bueno, mi predicción es no está equivocado, porque el real García soy yo, el verdadero García soy yo. Y por eso estoy aquí ante Gervonta Davis. Y sé que va a ser una pelea muy emocionante, porque Gervonta para mí es un gran peleador y yo estaré listo para como él venga, ready.
The real Garcia is right here. I'm the real Garcia. I don't care who he's focused on because I know I'm the true challenge. And Saturday night, fans are going to see a thrilling fight. They're not going to want to miss it. And it's going to be a show that everyone will enjoy.
Bob?
Well,
you know, when they're talking about Ryan Garcia, the reality of it is, in this sport, it's what's earned inside the ring. We have here next to me a man who's an Olympian. We have here next to me a man who won a title eliminator. We have here next to me a man who won a world championship. We have here next to me a man who was in, you know, the upset of the year and was victorious. And we have here who's a man by everybody, Sports Illustrated, Boxers Writers Association, Ring Magazine, a Fighter of the Year candidate. The aforementioned Ryan Garcia has done none of the five. He may end up doing something at some point, but as of today, you earn things inside the ring. That's why I have the utmost respect for Gervonta Davis. When they talk about some of these other champions, and I look to, you know, mutual opponents, Gamboa, I look at a Devin Haney, he went the distance with him. This man stopped him. Pitbull Cruz, I know very well. Me and Hector know him very well. He said this fight's a 50-50 fight, that there's a reason for it. He's a very, very tough guy. So things are earned inside the ring. And that's what's going to happen January 7th.
Tank, I'll give you the final word here. For everybody who's going to buy your fight, pay their good money, come out to the arena, what can you guarantee that they're going to get when you get into the ring with Hector Luis Garcia?
First, I want to say I want to send my prayer and love out to one of the Bill players that hurt themselves actually playing the sport on the field. You know what I mean? Damar Hamlin. Wish him a speedy recovery. Hope he make it, you know what I mean, back to his family and friends, and guys be able to play again with his brothers on the field. So I want to send my prayers to him and his family. As far as
I think Take's hungry.
That's what I want to say to Hector. Just be ready.
Really hungry.
Be ready. I feel as though this camp been great. Little hiccups, but we got through it, and I know that Hector somewhat ready or coming. Just don't make a lot of mistakes, because if you make too many, it might be an early night.
There you have it. And it all goes down on Showtime pay-per-view. Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time. Again, tickets are limited. You can get them at Ticketmaster.com, CapitalOneArena.com as well. Gervonta Davis, unbeaten. Hector Luis Garcia, unbeaten. 2 world champions collide here in the nation's capital on Saturday. Gentlemen, let's get a face-off if we could.
Face-off.
Yeah, that's normally what happens the day before a fight. A fight who's notoriously known for having weight issues, Tank Davis. I won't be surprised if his demeanor's like this because he's hungry as shit. Let's go full screen. Oh, what's this? What the hell was that? See, very hungry, very irritable.
Camera's in the back, guys. Hector, camera in the back. Camera all the way in the back.
It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight.
All right, guys. You're in the first row, please. Hector and Gervonta in the first row, please. Calvin and Bob, you're coming around. Get in. Bob, around that way.
I mean, like I said, you know, I like the main event. But, you know, it's not a pay-per-view fight, but at the end of the day,
all right,
once a fighter's
there you
pay-per-view,
have
they
it.
stay
You see
pay-per-view.
Gervonta Davis with his trainer, Calvin Ford, Hector Luis Garcia with his trainer, Bob Santos, Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell here with you at the Davis versus Garcia press conference from Washington, D.C. Brian Campbell, an interesting reaction from the two. A little pushing and shoving, but seems like some respect as well. Your reaction.
I like how both fighters presented themselves at this press conference after rightfully a long wait to see them get up there to hear what they have to say. So first,
let's see if one of them or Tank Davis gets to talk to Brian Campbell or Luke Thomas right there. So I did a poll in the chat. I'm going to be here on Saturday night covering these fights between 2 channels, between this channel and my Fight View 360 channel, which I put a link to in the chat, but I will get you another one. I guess I'm officially back on the saddle, meaning that I'm back to work covering boxing. January, we did lose Charlo versus Tim Tszyu, but here is my other channel here in which my lower tier boxing content is going to be. So basically what's going to be happening is on this channel right here, hold on, that's the link to the channel if you want to subscribe. I'm going to be doing some raw and uncut boxing videos. You know, many of them may not even have a thumbnail. But on this main channel, in which I'm streaming on now, is where the big fights are going to go. For example, if it's a pay-per-view, then we're going to cover the media events on this channel. For example, this fight right here, Tank Davis and Hector Garcia. But if it's a smaller fight, like an ESPN Plus type of fight, you know, like a Navarrete fight, some shit like that, that's going to be on the other channel. You kind of get where I'm going. Only the big fights here, the Canelos, the Anthony Joshuas, the Tyson Furies, the Deontay Wilders, the Tank Davises, you know, the Charlos are going to be on this channel. Guys like Lee Wood, Josh Warrington, motherfucking Shushu, Keyshawn Dave, they're going to be on the other channel. You get where I'm going? You get where I'm going? So I hope that works out for you. So let's see if any of these guys get to talk to Tank Davis. And I am going to be streaming this weekend during the Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia card on Showtime pay-per-view this Saturday for $74.99. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they're not buying the fight. Like a lot of, even on social media, people like, yo, these pay-per-views are too much. I did a little small poll here in the chat where, 100 people voted. Simple question. Are you buying this shit? 22% said yes. 45% said no. And there's some pretty pissed off people here where you got 33% saying, fuck them, I'm streaming this shit. Streaming is in high definition these days, guys. High definition. You know, I don't know how boxing is going to make it these next few years if they don't, you know, I'm not saying boxing is going to die, but we have to start getting better competition. I think these promoters got to start being weeded out. And these networks, there's too many networks. And the networks is what be stopping the fights. And then you got the promoters, and it's like this shit's got to stop on all ends. On all ends. You know, and no promoter is exempt from that. It's just that you see some promoters and broadcasters working with each other than others. For example, you often see the Zone fighters fighting on ESPN and ESPN fighters fighting on the Zone, meaning Top Rank and Matchroom, but not too much with PBC and other promotional companies. That's their business model. Remember, PBC came into the business with, you know, the intentions of taking over the sport. So they still operate somewhat in that UFC type of model, unless it's like a big, you know, fight. You know, what they feel is a big fight, like where, you know, we saw that Wilder and Fury were able to come together. Damn, so it's looking like that's it. We ain't gonna get Tank Davis sitting around and talking. Let's see, maybe that's just a commercial. But I'm going to be getting out of here. We're going to be back tomorrow night around 8 p.m. Eastern to wrap up the day and watch the weigh-in. And then because Tank Davis, you know, has had some issues with weight in the past, we have to also think like, damn, we got to hope he does make weight. You know, I'm not saying that he won't, but, you know, he's been looking a little sluggish at the media workout yesterday and now at the press conference. So, nope, that is it. Look like they won't be talking to Tank.